Okay. All right. Oh, jeez. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Ah, freaking dang. Let's see, my baby. Oh, this thing's broken. Did he just beat his charges? What was that? Oh, jeez. What up, Nicholas? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. Bam, bam. What's going on the internet? What up, Dean? What it do, brother? What it do? What it do? All right, what's out? Bombshell proof. Oh no, even worse than you think. Exhausted for no reason. Rainsville's strongest tornado. Something big appears to be pulling on the earth. Jeez. I have no idea, brother. Yeah, I have no idea. I just opened the doors to the bar and let the customers in. Yeah, if you don't open the doors, the customers can't get here. All right, let's see. Let's see. Dad charged. People are still stranded. Anchor slapped down after world's dumbest question. Oh, that's good. This could end the RAM crisis. The occult. Oh, that looks good too. I try my best, brother. I try my best. I try my best, my friend. Thank you. Why are so many people moving to Texas? House of God. Fungal nail laser. The internet. Building brain chips. Oh, yeah, I guess that is that guy. Let's see. Let's see. 89 degrees. Man, it's still hot. Florida cops face off against angry gator. MECFS. Red Bar has launched an investigation into this guy after viewers noticed his search history. Shut the freaking fragging hole. Whale man. I did an 8-hour live stream the other day. What's Red Bar? Anyway, oh, well, he's freaking trying to advertise for somebody. Whale man. Go ahead, get it done, brother. I'm not looking it up. I ain't got time for that crap. What up, Tony, brother? Let's see. Boom, boom. Dun, 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 dun. What is that? Well, something so complex I can't figure it out. All right, now, okay. Methylene blue, 500 GP, the Moto GP. Demolition Man still underway for Central Mills Warehouse. Insane turbos, supercomputers designing the future. Insane tornadoes. Oh man. NASA. Oh, NSA. I can't read. How industrial robots are so cheap. The unknown face of man. Walking shoes for wide feet. Okay, wolves in white coats. Yeah, did you guys read that? Wolves in white coats. That's some rough stuff. What's methylene blue? Methylene blue is a textile dye. It's like but it's also been found as a very potent supplement for well, it's used in like fish tanks and aquariums for like injured fish or like bacteria or parasites in the water. And it can also, people also take it, makes your pee blue, but it works to help I don't know, well, we can look it up. It helps to for your mitochondria, which is like the powerhouse of the cell. Methylene blue. Yeah, it's also a fish medication, yes, but methylene blue, synthetic blue chemical dye, right? So like it can be like indigo, like to make blue jeans and stuff, and that's what it was used for a long, long time. FDA approved prescription medication given intravenously to help methemoglobinemia, a serious blood disorder that impairs oxygen delivery. Right. So if you can't get oxygen in and out of the cells for whatever reason, yeah, you have like this issue. Methylene blue can help more oxygen get into the cell. It's also used by clinicians in a surgical dye. Okay. But I actually have some. I've taken it before. Okay, let's see what it says it does for the body. It's active oxidation reductive redox agent in the body. FDA approved okay, dangerous blood disorder where blood cells cannot deliver oxygen by converting abnormal hemoglobin back to its normal oxygen carry state. So for some reason, if your body's not making your red blood cells properly, it can tell the red blood cells or the I don't know if it's the blood cell itself or if it's the like bone marrow to stop making the red blood cell wrong. It's like, hey, dummy, make it right, and it can correct that. So it targets mitochondria to influence energy production. It's pretty crazy. You got you got betas, right? I remember it from back in the 70s. I put it, yes, right. Yeah, and it came back up in the mainstream during COVID because people were using old pharmacy like veterinary pharmaceuticals. Well, and stuff that they said was veterinary pharmaceuticals like ivermectin and methylene blue and hydroxychloroquine and stuff like that. So it came up. Now you have a bunch of people selling it. And I've had it for probably 10 years now. My folks take it pretty often. It better be in a separate tank, else it's going to be killing your other fish. Raises blood pressure, people with low blood pressure, surgical dye. As an antidote for cyanide poisoning, it's been studied for severe chemotherapy. It's been studied for severe chemotherapy induced brain confusion. So it seems pretty good. What up, Spots, brother? Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. And it's really blue. Like it'll make your pee blue. Like it'll stain your toilet. After you take it. After you take it. Watch it from India, 4:35 in the morning. Well, welcome, my friend. Welcome back, Lysergic. Yeah, I don't have this stuff. I actually have like pharmaceutical powdered, and you have to actually measure it out and dilute it yourself. Is that a creeper? That looked like a creeper. We used to sustain bacteria back in college. There you go. Yeah, but it's definitely used as a supplement. Yeah, here you go. Pharmaceutical grade methylene blue, 2%, made in the USA. But I'm interested in to see. I would like to see not just the rise of methylene blue. What community pharmacists say. What it's used for. There's 5%. And I have it so I can make my own dilutions. Well, I better stay away from it fighting high blood pressure. Yeah. Yeah, so one of the interesting things about high blood pressure too is high blood well, the reason high blood pressure it can be an issue is if you have calcified or if your arteries aren't and your vascular system isn't as stretchy as it should be, and it could be that if you haven't taken K2 or eaten enough food with vitamin K2 in it, K2 moves calcium out of the soft tissues into the bones and teeth, which keeps your vasculature stretchy, and if your vasculature can't expand like a rubber band and contracts with each heartbeat, that can raise your blood pressure. So, but you have to talk with your doctor to see if that's the problem. But vitamin B2 is something. Vitamin K2 is something that in what's the most important things I put in my body for my health. So B12 is for mental health and for nerves, for ADHD like symptoms and whatnot. B12 without doubt, but vitamin D3, vitamin K2, MK7 variety, vitamin K2, D3, K2, zinc, magnesium, potassium. I know you said that your doctor told you to stay away from potassium. That's kind of crazy. I mean, but hey, he tested your blood or your pee or whatever. So I can't take colloidal silver because it's toxic reaction to my heart medication. That's crazy. Yeah, listen, this is one of the things that really sucks about what we know and the data that we have access to. But so how vitamins and minerals and compounds like work in our body, and then those are the things that can trip it up. It's like, oh, well, my doctor gives me this, I want this for my heart. Okay, well, that throws everything because we don't know if that hinders the absorption of other vitamins and minerals or proteins and compounds, and then so that like throws. So that's when things get out of control, because you have to understand the pharmacology of all of those things. Yeah, what about it, brother? Okay, let's see. Oh, it's an MAO inhibitor. That's probably
You've
why.
probably seen it by now. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at 40,000 feet unscrewing a little vial of bright blue liquid. Social media called it out instantly. It's methylene blue. Biohackers cheered. Cognitive boost, anti-aging, mitochondrial upgrade. But what no one tells you is this. Methylene blue's strongest effects aren't on your mitochondria. They're on your brain chemistry. Specifically, it inhibits monoamine oxidase A, MAOA, the same target as prescription mayos used for depression. Now let that sink in. A compound sold as a supplement has pharmacological potency that rivals antidepressants. Let's unpack what that means. In this video, we'll learn how methylene blue works.
It's when you start going down these rabbit holes and you find out, well, why didn't my doctor tell me to take this rather than an antidepressant that has thousands of freaking side effects and wackadoo. Now, I mean, maybe it's because the pharmaceutical industry hasn't looked into methylene blue to know all the side effects. But if it's FDA approved and whatnot, and how it works with other pharmaceuticals and whatnot. But it just seems like, oh, we're gonna put you on an anti without testing your brain chemistry to know what chemicals out of whack. They'll say, oh, you've got a chemical disorder, you got a chemical imbalance, without knowing which chemical's out of balance, and then they just start giving you different stuff. That's what really pisses me off about it, because they won't. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
In the brain,
thousands of millions.
2, why it's 100 times more potent than a reversible MAO inhibitor you need a script for, and 3, the hidden risks you need to know, especially when using it with other meds.
Well, tell me, Dr. Reed.
I'm Dr. Sunil Rege, consultant psychiatrist and educator. First, let's start off with biochemistry in plain English. Inside every serotonin-producing neuron is a set of enzymes responsible for regulating neurotransmitter levels.
What are they called?
Chief
What's the name?
among them is monoamine oxidase, or MAO. There are 2 subtypes, MAO-A, which preferentially degrades serotonin and noradrenaline.
That's right.
And MAO-B breaks down dopamine and traceamines. Think of these enzymes as molecular shredders. So what happens if you block one of those enzymes? That's the principle behind
everything. Either its absorption or creates a toxin. In some cases, it can induce cardiac arrest. Yeah, well, you better be cautious. Pharmacogenetic test would tell you what meds would tell you. Yeah. I tell you, there's also, it also can go the opposite way. Yes. I mean, for the the general population's food, yes. Like you can go and find things at a standard grocery store that has non-GMOs and whatnot, but everything else that's on the shelf pretty much has additives to shelf stabilize it. But I live in Georgia, so I've got farms and what I have a farm here on my own property, but I've got like country garden farms and whatnot that I can get like milk from and stuff that's grown 10 feet away, so you can, but most of the processed foods has additives and stuff. A lot, most of them, yeah.
Entire class of antidepressants known as MAO inhibitors, MAOIs. Unlike SSRIs, which block serotonin's reuptake into the synaptic cleft, MAOs prevent serotonin breakdown inside the neuron itself.
That's all right, brother.
That means you don't...
I'm here to help, brother. You're all right, brother. There's BHT in my dog food. In your dog food? Not non-GMO products. Right. So, and you have to check. Luckily, our government at least requires that. It has to say on the nutrition label below the ingredients if there's a bioengineered or GMO ingredient. It was all right, brother.
Just keep more serotonin in the gap between the neurons.
It was exciting.
You store more inside the neuron, ready to release in a stronger, amplified burst. It's like stocking up the reservoir before opening the dam. Enter methylene blue. In 2006, researchers Gilman and Ramsey found that even at very low concentrations, we're talking nanomolar levels, methylene blue inhibits MAO-A. This wasn't speculative. It was measurable and pharmacologically confirmed.
And repeatable.
2 years later, the same team compared methylene blue's potency to moclobamide, a commonly prescribed reversible MAO inhibitor. Methylene blue was roughly 100 times more potent. Translation, the so-called microdose people use for cognition under 1 milligram per kilogram already delivers clinically significant MAO inhibition. Push the dose higher and you start blocking MAO-B as well, meaning dopamine rises right alongside serotonin and noradrenaline. Suddenly the testimonials make sense. Laser sharp focus,
yes.
Endless energy.
Right, repeatable. That's the most important thing. What up, Andy? I make my own apple juice out of mango. He's got that magic, the magic squeezer. Bookshook. I did everything but cook.
Euphoric calm. Sure, they're feeling it. It's just antidepressant pharmacodynamics in disguise, not magic mitochondrial pixie dust. Let's compare MAOs versus SSRIs and why the mechanism matters. So SSRIs block the serotonin reuptake pump. This increases the amount of serotonin lingering in the synapse, the space between the neurons. Effects are subtle and gradual. MAOs stop the neuron from breaking down serotonin internally. When the cell fires again, it has a larger reserve and releases more serotonin in one burst. Effects can be rapid, but harder to control. You're stockpiling serotonin inside the neuron, ready to fire. When it does fire, you get a dramatic surge.
So it acts as a steroid, like vitamin D3 acts like a steroid. And vitamin D3 is more of a steroid than a standard vitamin would be considered. Vitamin D3, especially at much higher levels than what our governments tell us we should take, 400 to 600 IUs. In 2014, 2015, there was a study released called The Vitamin D Problem, where they found out they were off by 12 to 14 times, not percent, times. Like the average person should be, adult should be taking 8,895 IUs to stay at baseline. That means that you're replacing the amount that your body uses. The amount that they told us to use back in like the 40s, 50s, and 60s was the amount, 30s, 40s, 50s, was the amount to not give us rickets so our bones wouldn't bend. So they thought that vitamin D3 was primarily for the skeleton. But no, it's everything. It's our immune system. It's neurotransmitters. I was on opioids for a decade. It killed my serotonin. Yeah, brother, it'll do that. It'll definitely do that. A pharmacological sledgehammer. Wednesday's for Wednesday's processed food. My old Chinese roommate used to call it Booger King. I don't got no boobs.
Seems stronger. The MAO-I. Which one is easier to tip into toxicity? Same answer. So males are actually stronger from a mechanistic standpoint, and that's partly why they carry more
One
dietary.
of the wackadoo things about SSRIs is serotonin doesn't just work in the brain for mood. It has to do with a lot of stuff in the body, how muscles contract and expand and contract, how you've got serotonin receptors on white blood cells and your immune system. It tells immune cells where and how to respond and how much for inflammation. So we're just getting into how bad using an SSRI for depression could really be in 2026. Go figure. Go figure.
And drug interaction warnings. You see, methylene blue doesn't behave like an SSRI, it behaves like a pharmacologically potent MAO inhibitor. And that takes us straight to the elephant in the room, serotonin syndrome. Here's where it gets critical. When MAO-A is inhibited and serotonin levels rise, adding a second serotonergic agent can create dangerous excess. That's the recipe for serotonin syndrome. Symptoms include agitation, tremor, clonus hyperreflexia, fever, dilated pupils, confusion, or even seizures. This can happen when methylene blue is stacked with SSRIs or SNRIs.
Right. Listen, I tell you what. I want to tell you what. If anybody has freaking anybody has insomnia, if you can find out where to get these guys right here, dude. Okay. I take GABA, GABA, and magnesium glycinate as a standard supplement 2-3 times a week, just because I want to get magnesium in my body, and glycinate. Lots of other types of magnesium that they sell as supplements when you make you poop and whatnot. They have a laxative effect. Magnesium glycinate doesn't do that, and it makes you sleepy, calm. If I can take it in the middle of the day and, I just feel chill, I don't feel tired, but I take it at night when my body's already making melatonin, I can fall asleep in 5 minutes. But I took 2 of these. So this has got a lot of good stuff in it. It's got B6, methylcobalamin and B12, not the cyanocobalamin craziness. Then it's got 50 micrograms of D3, which is pretty good, 2,000 IUs, which is not usually good to take at night because some people can find little issues falling asleep because your body expects to get D3 from sunlight during the day. GABA, 1,000 milligrams of GABA, 200 milligrams of L-theanine, 200 milligrams of 5-HTP, which is tryptophan, the 220 milligrams of magnesium glycinate, and 400 milligrams of ashwagandha, and 5 milligrams of black pepper. Black pepper can help chemistry absorb through the gut, through the intestines, into the bloodstream. And I tell you what, I took some, and about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, I went to go get like a midnight snack. And I was like freaking like trying to finish my milk. And I was like, I gotta go to bed. I was out. And I woke up a few hours later to pee. Didn't end up peeing in the bed or anything. And I wasn't sluggish or tired. I didn't still feel sedated. And I tell you what, it worked for me. If hantavirus spread, what would happen? You would take zinc and zinc ionophores like quercetin and zinc bisglycinate. Most of us have insomnia issues. Yeah. It's GABA, GABA, just GABA, yeah. Gamma-aminobutyric acid. I still have my mother on Ollie's taking stress gummies with GABA in it. Yeah, dude. I don't know about the gummies, but GABA's it's nice. It's nice. If you don't overdo it and take it when you need it. It's nice. I just decimated my turlet. Straight triple flushes the whole night. I didn't know what else. It's a while. I tell you what, it works. Like it works like lickety split. Like there's no driving. Like if you take 2 of them and somebody says, "Hey, can you pick me up?" There's no fighting. There's no fighting through it. Like I could have fought through it possibly, but I was like only freaking 20 feet from my bed. I'm glad we don't have these in Scotland. No, you probably do. I guarantee you do. The supplements? Yeah, I'm sure you do. GABA is a standard supplement. GABA, like if you have benzodiazepines like Valium and they all work on the GABAergic system in your brain. Alcohol, same thing, works on the GABAergics. So this is just the chemical, just GABA. GABA supplements, Scotland. In Scotland, Restacon supplements are generally not sold over the counter street shops. Oh wow, you can get them online through UK resellers, or and it says or use legal alternatives like L-theanine, taurine, and so this has L-theanine in it and GABA. I wonder if we got a message. Yeah, well, it looks like it. Yeah. I think that's crazy, David. So the I'm sure you can get drugs of abuse. I'm sure you could probably walk down the street somewhere in some town and get freaking whatever, right? But it's like, or you could go to your doctor and you could get a prescription for whatever. But the thing is, these things are what the body actually uses, and a lot of pharmaceuticals turn into things that and use other things from the body to make things that the body can use that looks like things the body actually like creates on its own. And that's what pisses me off. The side effects of all the other stuff. I use something called quiet night tablets. Quiet night, our traditional herbal medicine for anxiety across UK and Scotland. Okay, valerian root. Yeah. I got your quiet night tablets right here, brother. Yeah. Yeah, I got your quiet night tablets right here, brother. Da, 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 da. There we go. Oops, there we go.
NRIs or tramadol, dextromethorphan, a common cough suppressant, St. John's wort, or an antihistamine such as chlorpheniramine. It's not just theory. There have been surgical cases where IV methylene blue was used as a dye and patients died due to undetected interactions with their antidepressants. This risk is especially high because many clinicians don't realize methylene blue is a Mayo inhibitor, and many consumers assume it's benign. But a few drops plus a common cold medication and you've created a biochemical powder cake. The same pharmacy that sells you blue drops also sells cold and flu tablets loaded with chlorpheniramine. 2 meds, 1 unsuspecting brain, and you're flirting with a trip to the emergency department. Okay, you might say, but what if I take it solo, no other meds? It's still not a free ride. Methylene blue is not inert. Even taken solo, it can produce nausea, dizziness, headaches, tremors, visual disturbances, discoloration of urine and skin, a blue tint. Mechanistically, methylene blue can convert hemoglobin into methemoglobin, a form that can't carry oxygen efficiently. This creates an apparent cyanosis, blue lips, blue fingers, that can impair oxygen delivery. In severe cases, this can cause shortness of breath, confusion, or fatigue. Now, there is a hidden immune and inflammation angle. Mayo isn't merely...
Right, I was about to say. So like, when you read so it's all, you're always going to, it's always a give and take, okay? No one that I know, at least growing up, coming into my 40s, ever read any of the side effects for any of the things a doctor prescribed them. Like no one takes out that big sheet of paper that's freaking 2 feet by 3 feet long with little itty bitty Bible-sized print on it that tells you about all the wackadoo stuff it can do to you. And when you can get things like when they talk about this, like IV methylene blue, Okay, don't inject things. Don't inject things. If you're trying to help yourself fix your body, the one of the biggest things you can do is make sure your skin's in good working order. It's the first line of protection from keeping things to getting into your veins and arteries. You also have your guts. If your guts are in decent working order, most of the things that you'll take orally that are oral compounds, oral preparations, won't get to you in those levels. So but I understand he probably wants to avoid the we learning today, brother. We learning today. But, saying, oh, this person IV did this and that. Okay, don't shoot freaking methylene blue. Yeah, don't do that either. Yeah, boil it down with some methylene blue, right?
A neurotransmitter janitor. It's a generator of oxidative stress. So every time the enzyme deaminates a monoamine, it spits out hydrogen peroxide and toxic aldehydes. In many chronic diseases, heart failure.
Right, but the problem is we're told to fear that. Is it necessarily bad?
Parkinson's, even neuroinflammatory syndromes, Mayo activities ramped up, fueling tissue damage. So blocking Mayo may indeed reduce oxidative stress and inflammation. So there is a grain of truth inside the hype. And this is the grain of truth that drives.
No, don't do that. Yeah, we watched that video, Monk, when that guy was injecting colloidal gold, homemade colloidal gold, and he went insane. And then, like, when the police showed up to help him, he just swam out in the ocean until he drowned. Like, just kept swimming away from the cops. Yeah,
but
you remember that, right? I'm pretty sure you were the one that told me to look it up.
It's a double-edged sword. Inhibiting Mayo can impact not just mood, but also blood pressure, sleep, immune signaling, and more. So yes, there's potential, but that potential needs to be harnessed clinically, not casually. So what should you do?
Hey, here's another thing. Here's another thing. Like nothing is harnessed and moderated clinically. You go and talk to your doctor for 5 minutes, and then they tell you to take this, and you leave, and you take it unmonitored. But the way that they say it, the words that they use, like in a clinical setting. What's a clinical setting nowadays? 7 minutes? 7 minutes is the time that most doctors want to meet to get you out and get the next person in. So they're not giving you the drug, then monitoring you for a few hours to make sure there's no adverse effects. They tell you to use 911 or call them or whatever if you feel bad. And this is the stuff that's so wackadoodle. If you take any of these other compounds and something bad happens, you're going to call 911 and do the same. The doctor doesn't ever get in trouble for giving you something that hurts you. Why don't doctors get in trouble for giving you things that have side effects when they're not? Oh, it was under my supervision. No, he wasn't. I was at home. I left with the prescription. I filled the prescription. I went home. I took the prescription. I had an adverse effect. I was not under your supervision. Well, but you could call me. Yeah, it pisses me off. I have 50 milligrams with 50 grams. Yeah, I got about 10. Or that guy who it's colloidal silver. Yeah. He didn't just bathe in it. He drank it. He made his own colloidal silver and drank it for years. Took 100 milligrams a few days ago, pissed green for 3 days. Yeah. I don't know what else you're doing. I pissed blue. My urine is usually like light straw, even in the morning. Yeah, he drank. Yeah. He drank it a lot. Yeah, I used to have his name on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it. I've got some right here. Ouch. I've got some right here. I got a lot of stuff. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Now I forgot what I was doing. Colloidal silver man. Colloidil. No. It definitely takes low doses over a period of time to start noticing a benefit. You don't notice anything. Yeah, here he is. What was his name? Paul Carrison. Here he is. That's him right there, buddy. Look at this freaking guy. Look at that, dude. Man. Brother, I don't play around. Listen, after COVID and all that bull crap, when I started to realize that they didn't know what they were talking about, they were just taking new preparations and speaking with confidence. Do you know what confidence men are? con men. And I realized that I got to start looking into this stuff for myself and my family. Have a good night. Have a good night, David, brother. Nice to meet you, my friend. I had MAO mania. Had no MAO mania with had no harmless, even no MAO inhibitor. Yeah. You're not. I didn't notice anything off of that. Harmalis, what up, William?
Always ask about supplements, especially cognitive enhancers or nootropics. Look for interactions with serotonergic agents. Educate patients about serotonin syndrome symptoms. Note, even cough syrups can trigger this off. Be aware that even microdoses of methylene blue are pharmacologically active. If you're a patient or a biohacker, don't combine methylene blue with SSRIs, SNRIs, or cough medicine.
Take none of that
know that
crap.
NEO inhibitor effects start at surprisingly low doses.
Right,
Be
yeah,
cautious.
that's the benefits are unbelievable. There's downsides to everything, and coming out the downsides to SSRIs are unbelievably like most people that get on SSRIs, that when they come off, the depression caused from the withdrawal of the SSRIs, which can last years. Protracted withdrawal can last years and make so to say they were a 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 on the depression scale, and then when they get off while withdrawing from that, if they get protracted withdrawal, which is like hundreds of thousands of people have reported this, and it's just finally being called real. And they go to like 9.5, 9.6, 9.75 out of 10. So they started off like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me in high school, so I got on SSRIs. And then 10 years later, they get off and their weight goes, they go whacking them. Yeah, neuroplexus problem. It gives you telepathy. Check it out. We use methylene blue shipping tropical fish. Yeah, that's when I first heard about it as a kid. And I remember I had fish that fought. And the injuries on the fish when we drop methylene blue, that was freaking 40 years ago. 38.
Stacking. Recognize that blue urine doesn't mean harmless.
It gives you telepathy, dude. We'll do it. We'll do a methylene blue live stream. No, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Methylene blue and telepathy. I can't hear. My air conditioner's blowing into the mic. Methylene blue and telepathy. Damn it. Does not cause, enhance, or relate to telepathy. Functional connectivity. And this is one of the big things. Oh, I thought you were talking about methylene blue. Mushrooms are more to get. Yeah, right. Alcohol such as harmine, especially scientifically named telepathy for being isolated ayahuascas vine have long historical association with reported telepathic and communal visions. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We use malachite green and fish. Yeah, we need. What was the red one? What's the red one? You have red, green, and blue. I can't remember the red one's name. Malachite green is copper compound. That's DMT. Right. That's right.
This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about informed consent. If you're using methylene blue for cognition, mood, inflammation, fine, but treat it with the same level of thoughtfulness you would any antidepressant. So let me summarize all of this for you.
I had half a
methylene blue is a potent, reversible NEO-A inhibitor. It's around 100 times stronger than moclobamide at inhibiting this enzyme. It can produce meaningful changes in serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline. But it also interacts dangerously with other serotonergic substances. And it carries its own side effects, from mild nausea, discoloration, to severe serotonin syndrome, methemoglobinemia. So yes, methylene blue is fascinating. It has potential, but it also has power, and we need to respect that. If this breakdown helped clarify things for you, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and I look forward to seeing you.
Let me see if I can find it. Red dye compound used for fish. That's the staff. Maybe that's what it was. But that's the stuff that's in krill and stuff. Not used for fish. The color of frame salmon fish acts as staff, and that's the dye. Allura red 40, sometimes that's liquid attracts on the base. Keto carotenoids. Yeah, as an staff, and so yeah, that's the red one. But I could have swore it was antiseptic. Oh, mercurochrome. So it's got mercury in it. It does not do that unless you drink it. If you smoke it, it lasts for like 15 minutes. That's bad. Tea. All right, let's see. But that's pretty cool stuff. There's going to be a flood on the 22nd December midday. Where? Where, Shiva? Where's the flood going to be? Let's see. Well, sure looks like it. Yep, national flood is if you build it, that's true. Indianapolis is going to get hit again. Jeez. All right, let's see. Bam, making it happen. Making it happen. That's me. Butcher's extracted a 5 count from SP500 today. I ain't got no money to play. I don't have no money to play around with. I've got like maybe $400 to my name right now. Yeah, Indianapolis. Yeah, that's what it said right there. Indianapolis. That's this area right here. It looks like they're going to get hit huge. Huge. Where am I at? Wait, there we go. Let's try this. Let's try this. Oh no! Dramatic video. Look at this.
These U.S. Marshals Task Force members recently
look at all these U.S. Marshals up here on this deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 10 of them. You could buy funded account evaluation with $100. I'll help you pass it. All right. All right. All right. They give you $2K to trade if you pass. All right. We'll try it.
An arrest warrant in Missouri. Never imagine the hidden threat beneath them. A second-story deck at an apartment complex collapses, sending 9 deputies plummeting to the ground.
I can't count.
The marshals say injured task force members suffered broken bones, torn muscles, and head injuries, but luckily, all will return to work soon. The U.S. Marshals Service is the oldest federal law enforcement agency in the country. They provide federal court security through asset forfeiture and witness protection.
All right, we'll give it a whirl.
Hunting down the nation's most notorious
sure, let's do it.
As dramatized in Raimi's hit movie, The Fugitive. Threat beneath them.
Oops.
A second-story deck at an apartment complex collapses, sending 9 deputies plummeting to the ground. The marshals say injured task force members suffered broken bones, torn muscles, and head injuries.
Dude, I wonder if the guy ran out the other side. Jeez. How much you give for the new guy, Mr. Yorga? Yeah. Too much. Mr. George, how much you got for the new guy? No good operator. 20 an hour? No good. No good operator. All right, let's see. Now they're backtracking. It was rigged. Guilty. Cambridge. Even men. That's funny. No good operator. Remember when we were young, an accident like that would just yeah, right. We'd get up and be like, let's see if the other side will fall down. Let's get up there and jump on it this time. Yep, that's what we would do. Yeah, dude, I remember. Dude, listen, I built a lot of wooden skateboard ramps, and when I was first learning how to build them, like I'd hit them with my skateboard, and they would break, and I, get back up, bloody ankles or bloody elbows and knees, broken noses. Get up and do it again, right? Yeah, we were bouncy back then. What up, Thadiel? All right, very weird reason. Curved shape machine. Oh, wow. Wow. All right, let's see if this is
How can
AI
a machine that looks this simple save a factory?
Hold on, let's see here. I need to set up a zoom for this.
More than 10,000. How can a machine that looks this simple save a factory more than $10,000? It's called a CNC multi-point forming machine. In the past, if a factory wanted to press metal into a curved shape, it needed a dedicated solid die. If the product changed, that expensive die might need to be modified or replaced. But this machine has no fixed shape. Its base contains many metal pins that move up and down independently. By setting each pin at a different height, the machine can create different curved surfaces. Engineers load a 3D model into the system, and the software calculates how high each pin needs to rise. But wouldn't those pins leave the metal covered in dents? That's why a flexible rubber pad is placed between the pins and the sheet. It spreads the pressure across the surface, producing a smoother finish.
Well,
when the press comes down,
cool.
the flat sheet is forced into the programmed curve. Metal
12, maybe, like probably a dozen times. It got to the point when it would break, like it would bleed for like a couple seconds. It's What up, Robert? Yeah, this is about 12 times. I maybe more than that. Yeah, I probably broke it 6 times in 1 year, and then like probably I broke it on my 21st birthday again. That was in the bottom of a swimming pool. Lucky I didn't break my neck. I dove into a swimming pool, and it had the shallow end, and then it had a slope that went down to the deep end, and it was a small pool, so that angle. Like usually the slope is gradual like this, but on this pool it was like this. So the shallow end wasn't like what it typically is, because it was a smaller backyard, like not row homes, but duplexes. So you had your neighbors, right? Anyway, so this was the rich family in the neighborhood, so they had an in-ground swimming pool, and when I dove in onto the deep end, I didn't have that in the deep end. I didn't have the room to dive in and then come up like that. So I hit my nose right on the peak. I didn't hit my forehead and I didn't hit my mouth. But as I came up, boom, I just clipped my nose on the bottom, and people were like, good dive. And I was like, thank you. And my body was completely wet. Obviously, I just came out of the water and the blood just flowed. What up, Dorsheen? Long time no see, brother.
can spring back after the pressure is
I had an
released,
ex-girlfriend
so
who was playing
engineers
drug
adjust
chicken
the
with a
pins and
train.
press
Her
it
friends
slightly
hold her hand
farther
and
to
pulled her into the
compensate.
train, killing
This machine
her.
cannot replace every traditional die, but it is ideal for aircraft skins, ship hull plates, and small batches of custom parts. Instead of building another expensive die,
What?
the factory may only need to load a new design. How can a
Hold on. I had an ex-girlfriend who was playing drunk chicken with a train. Her friend was holding her hand, pulled her into the train, killing her friend and almost her. Yeah, don't play chicken with a train. Man, let's put a shrimp on the Barbie. What up, Space Cow? She broke her entire face, arm. Oh, man. Life been taking you left and right. Yeah. Yeah. She's lucky to be there. Good. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm here. So I had a story like that. Everybody got alive. Everybody ended up alive. And I have a story like that where the girl ended up dead. Okay, so one was with the train. Me, my girlfriend, and her friend. We were all going through a train tunnel. Okay, so there was this in Maryland. There was this park called Patapsco State Park, and there was like on the outskirts of Patapsco State Park. There was this paper mill, this big paper factory. So if you went to the paper factory and went into the woods, you could go up the hill onto the train tracks and go through like this mountain if you went through the train tunnel, and it opened up into Patapsco State Park. So you didn't have to pay to get into the park. You snuck in through the back door. Well, when we were leaving the park, the train was coming. So like I'm pretty tall and my girlfriend was pretty tall, but her friend was like 4'10" or something like that. And so me and my girlfriend get out in the nick of time, and then I see her friend diving out. She hits the ground. I pull her to us. The train's going. You could hear the rocks like being shot up, like go off of like the big concrete or not concrete, stone. This is an old 1800s stone train tunnel, and you could hear the rocks like that were the ballast or whatever it was for the railroad ties just bouncing off the wall. But so we lived. Okay, another girlfriend of mine, when she was, well, this was back when she was just finishing high school, going to senior week, Ocean City, Maryland, and her friend borrowed her hair scrunchie, and she was running across the street on I can't remember the name of the main boulevard there. But she dropped my girlfriend's scrunchie. So she bent back. She stopped and bent over to pick up the scrunchie, leaning into the lane she just ran through, and a car bumper hit her in the head, killing her instantly. Drunk. What up? You're all sick. Yeah. Okay. Tops at CT about 7 years, so she lived next to the train tracks. So she wasn't scared of the train because nothing ever happened before. You're all sick. Give Space Cowboy a call. His mouth is nothing in his own mouth. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But yeah, me, Allie, and I can't remember her friend's name. But yeah, I remember that little girl, that little girl. She was freaking 20 years old, but diving out of the like the train tunnel. Her name was Brittany. Playing chicken with a subway train. She took a major one that day. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Risk reward. Risk reward. From viral trends to raw rehearsals. What? Oh no, look at this. YouTube's trying to get people to start doing dancing trends. Witness this chemistry, skill, and storytelling that turns a dance crew into a family. So I guess they're going to start trying to take over. You look like John Cooper Clarke. I do. Let's take a look. Who's John Cooper Clarke? John Cooper Clarke. All right, let's see what John Cooper Clarke looks like. Bam. Hey, I do kind of look like John Cooper Clarke. Wow. Did you see the betting on? No, I did not see that. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert. Bam, I used to dress like that too when I was a punk rocker. That's a furthering. That's a what? Furthering of a war against TikTok. Yeah. Well, and also, we'll see, But yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do. And they like YouTube did like a scrubbing of like 100,000 channels, I think, off of the YouTube partner program. So it was 100,000 channels that were getting paid to post, and they all lost it because it was like AI and like spot the difference. That's my doppelganger. Yeah, they said they had to stop taking bets because it was causing people to start more fires. What a bunch of idiots. Yeah, of course. Just like when you give people an incentive, like when you take donations to stop hate and the hate slows down, you want to make sure the hate fires up again so you can take more donations. Yeah, donate to my charity so we could go. We could get Space Cow from. We get. You want to try to work with SpaceX to see if we can lasso a Space Cow? Like, no crap. What do you think will happen when you bet on wildfires? Right. Especially if you want to win, you get a bunch of people together. You put all your money in there, saying there'll be a wildfire on this day, and then you say, okay, let's make it happen. He looks like Alice Cooper's dad. Alice Cooper. Elon Tusk to get a Space Cow? Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see what you got.
Y'all, hello, America. Y'all, it is so dang hot outside.
Look at those freaking shoulders.
Language does not have the right words to explain what this heat is doing to the human body. So, I have made up a few words of my own. The first word is scrotisserie. That's when it's so hot outside that your scrotum feels like one of them Walmart rotisserie chickens, just sitting under the heat lamp, cooking in its own juices. Now to use it in a sentence. Boy, it's so dang hot out here, I got a full-blown case of scrotisserie going on in my britches. The next word is asphalt. That's when it's so hot outside that your butt crack is approximately
That's redneck. What up, Dave?
As a freshly paved highway. Now, let's use it in a sentence. I've been sitting outside in this heat for 10 minutes, and I got me a bad case of the asphalt. Our next term is thydration. This one's for you.
Scrotisserie should have been the last one.
When them thick thighs
well, why is he in the sun
heat, and they start sweating real bad, and it looks like you...
He's a redneck, Dorsheen. This is what rednecks do. They get rednecks.
Britches have their own irrigation system. Now, let's use it in a sentence. Tammy had to leave the cookout early due to a severe case of thydration. The next word is crotch-pocalypse. A crotch-pocalypse occurs when your crotch sweats so much that your underwear has to be declared a natural disaster area. Now let's use it in a sentence. At 12 p.m.,
he does have some red.
A little bit of swamp.
Hold on, look at this. Let me get you guys some freaking Zoom Nation on there. Look, I can go bigger. Hold on, let's do this. Look at those freaking shoulders. Look how red that stuff is, dude.
And some Niagara balls. But by 5 p.m., I had a full-on crotch-pocalypse. And the last
I think he's got makeup on.
This is when the sun makes it so hot that the word unbearable cannot accurately describe your suffering.
I think that's makeup.
Oh, boy. I bet it's 110 degrees out here. This heat is sunbearable. I hope you've learned something today. God bless y'all. I love you.
Yeah, Sunbearable, the lobster Viking. Yeah, a couple years ago, he was funny. Apparently, he's made a bunch of money off of it too. 'Cause I think he does comedy tours. But yeah, Sunbearable wasn't the best one. You had a crotch apocalypse. You had more than that. You see, you're supposed to. You have a look at this, Space Cow. This is September 22nd's outlook. That's flood. That's the flood hazard. Flood hazard for Indianapolis. Well, Indiana. Looks like you better keep your freaking your canoe freaking readied up. Bam. Okay, let's see. Wolves. Yeah, that wolves in white coats thing is freaking nuts. We'll look at that. Get in formation. All right, let's see. Let's see what we can find here. All right. Oh, American Mother, right? What? Hey, how to fix dirty power? What's dirty power? Wow. Uh-oh, ND. They busted all your, oh, never mind. I'm not going to pull that up. All right, we'll talk about that later. Printing microchips, gas station focus pills. Grant.
Adol XR. What the heck is this? I'm Grant Harding. I'm a licensed pharmacist in 3 states and one of the nation's leading drug pricing experts. Today I have with me a gas station supplement, which very clearly is supposed to mimic a design and make you think of Adderall XR, which is a Schedule II medication in the United States. I don't know where I saw this initially. It was a couple years ago, and it was at a gas station. And immediately I looked at it, and I was like, oh, that'll never last. Like, that's obviously a scam. One of my viewers on TikTok asked me to take a look at gas station supplements, and this was the first one that came to mind. So I ordered it online, and they actually gave me 3 of these. And also, they gave me this Power Shot thing, which I'll review later. I swear I didn't order that, but they gave it to me anyway.
They want to get you addicted. They want you to be a forever customer. I love him, dude. He's great.
Just
definitely subscribe to Gas Station Pill One on a Day with a Black Lady.
What the heck is this thing? Is it effective? Is it safe? I don't know. Let's find out. What other types of like weird gas station supplements are there? Like, this is the only one that came to mind, but I'd love to know other ones.
What do you mean? What other kinds are there?
Adol XR, again, very clearly trying to look like Adderall. They even have a prescription vial in the background. Like, this is almost kind of like, I don't really like this so far. Add, okay, good. Focus to your day. It's 750 milligrams.
Of what?
Okay, 750 milligrams of what?
Right.
And it says here there's 2 capsules and it's a dietary supplement. So let's look at the back of this thing. Supplement facts. Serving size is 1 capsule. Okay, that's relevant. It comes in a 2-pack, but you only need 1, apparently. Amount per serving.
It's got GABA in it.
Proprietary blend, 750 milligram. Right away, to me, that looks sus. I don't like it whenever companies put proprietary blend.
Right, because you don't know how much of each. So it's got multiple things. You don't know how much of each. Altogether, that adds up. That's unleaded there, brother. Unleaded.
Ingredients. It very much looks to me like they're trying to hide something, and it makes them, they think they're looking slick, but they're not. And here, and right down below, they have to list the ingredients anyway. So here it's gamma aminobutyric acid. Okay, that's something called GABA, and that actually helps you relax. That kind of like makes the brain a little less excited. In fact, GABA is something I would take if I'm...
So what it probably does is because it makes you feel something, like you take it and you actually feel a change in your body, then like the placebo effect takes over and you're like, it's working. I definitely think I felt better. just because you felt something. Like a lot of people that take antidepressants, SSRIs, it'll give them dry mouth or one of the other side effects. So they'll be like, oh, I can tell, it's working. And then they get hope. So like a lot of times it's the side effect causing a placebo effect.
I wanted to go to sleep, or at least help with sleep anyway.
Right.
Second one is 1-amino-2-phenylethane.
It looks like
now
caffeine
these numbers
almost.
correspond to the structure of the chemical, and right down here there's two.
GABA? No. GABA is a neurotransmitter. That's that. There's a segment of the brain not segment. There's a system in the brain that GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, works on. It's the same system. It's the same reason why you feel like alcohol. Alcohol works on the GABAergic. It's GABAergic. It's going in the GABA system. But yeah, it's not. It doesn't thin the blood. Aspirin thins the blood. There might be, I mean, unless you have something there, Dorjeen, that has a brand name like that, like
2-amino.
I never
methylheptane.
Never underestimate the placebo.
I couldn't find too much information on. This last one is called octadrene. Now, octadrene apparently works in the brain to sort of limit the brain's reuptake of certain neurochemicals. And the ones I saw listed were dopamine, which makes sense if anyone struggles with ADHD.
Yeah.
You know that taking Adderall causes an increase in dopamine. So this is similar, and from what I saw claims that it reduces the reuptake of dopamine and norepinephrine. So essentially it causes those levels to go up in the brain. So let's see here. The product description. I saw this when I was reviewing this for my TikTok page. They do list here a drug interaction with MAO inhibitors, and that is very true. Anything,
look it up.
That causes this type of effect.
What's up, Vendetta? Long time, Suki, brother.
Amine oxidase.
If I get a 4-hour boner, I'm not calling a doctor.
I'm actually very happy this company.
I'm calling the media. Bacopa. I don't even know what that is. Bacopa.
Company put that warning on here. I like to see that. So now I got. Now I'm kind of confused. There's parts of this package that I don't like, but I do like that they put that warning on there. Let's open this up. And when I was making my TikTok video, this is very difficult to open. So let's see if I can do this a little bit better this time. Oh my gosh.
I lumped them together because they both be
okay, so this is my issue. You can it's supposed to push through here, but the capsules they're not strong capsules. I'm gonna break the capsule. So you smush the capsule.
Yeah.
Look, it's broken.
It's brown.
I think. The powder is falling out of here because it snapped. Yeah, so this is the worst packaging I think I've ever seen.
They don't care. Listen, if somebody's going to the gas station to get $15 fake Adderall, Bacopa Monnieri. I've never heard of it. It's a new one to me. Bacopa Monnieri's kind of high top. Okay, there you go. Yeah, creeping one. Yep. I am very familiar with it. Yep, I didn't know that was the scientific name. Yeah, high top. May decrease the rate of forgetting and support verbal learning and information recall. It's an adaptogen. Help manage acute and chronic anxiety. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've probably got some growing around here.
Package instructed me to take 1 capsule, so that's what I'm gonna do.
I had a party, brought a non-alcoholic cocktail by mistake, and somebody drank the alcohol. Yeah, brother, listen. When I was in high school, I had a buddy who did the same thing. They got a 6-pack of non-alcoholic beer, not knowing it was non-alcoholic, and acted like they were hammered. It was embarrassing for them for 20 years afterwards. Hyssop, HYSSOP. The flour, yeah. Yeah, high sop. Water high sop.
My goodness, those were pretty big.
You're welcome.
I lost track of time and cleaned my entire apartment. No, I'm just kidding. No, I might feel a little bit of a boost in my energy, but not much. It's kind of difficult to say, honestly.
Should have taken both of them.
But one thing I did notice is I'm not hungry anymore, which would make sense if you think of the mechanism of action, right? But again, I don't even really know if it's due to that or not, but we'll keep trying here, or we'll keep you updated here. It's been about an hour, so we'll see how I feel in a couple more.
Tired.
This is absolutely working, and I was not expecting this, and now I don't know what to do. I just got done editing a video, and I didn't want to stop. I have to go meet my friends, and my teeth feel really sensitive, and perhaps my heart rate is up a little bit, and I'm not hungry at all.
Black Ops 1 or 2.
I wasn't expecting this to actually work.
It's a family name. A guy came up to me yesterday, he was all scraggly.
I can't watch it.
And I asked one of my friends to try it. So I gave him one of the pills to see what he thought, and here you can see his results. Okay, did you take the Adderall I gave you earlier?
Yeah, I took a gas station pill for concentration from my man here.
How do you feel it worked, or what do you feel like?
I feel electric, dude. I feel electricity running through my balls, dude.
My balls.
It's, you know what I mean? I feel alive. I feel 10 years younger.
Are you serious, or are you just making it up?
No, I felt nothing. I forgot.
Nothing at all?
Yeah, it's a gas station pill. I didn't know I took it.
So he had a very different experience from me. I still hold true that it did something. It wasn't like...
Well, he was probably drunk. The guy that took it was probably drinking on it, too. Rip Frank, he's...
changing, and it wasn't something I want to experience again. But it definitely did work, in my opinion. Although, apparently, to some people, it has a effect like it did with me, and to some people, it doesn't, like it did with my friend. In any event, the choice is up to you. I don't think I'm going to recommend that. Even though it did work, it just did not have a very enjoyable experience. Not something I want to try again.
$77. He lived a long life, brother. Oh, they were supposed to play near me in September. They were supposed to play today in Utah. $107 tickets. I don't think people who act drunk from drinking something they think is alcohol should feel ashamed. Placebo works. Yeah, it was severe placebo though, brother. Like stumbling, falling down, accidentally grabbing a boob or something. You know, like it was, it was severe. Like if we would have let him drive, he would have wrecked his car. Not that freaking placebo. Does black people less automized than white people in Western countries? Less automized? Less mind people? Black people less mind than white people? I'm trying to understand what you mean. Less mind. Like not hate them? I don't know. They canceled 2 shows and are playing others. Wow, 4 hours ago. So they have another drummer stepping in to fill the drum seat. Wow, what did he die from? Man. Well, still good placebo. Still right. Like if you feel something, like if you drink a beer and you feel something that's not a real beer, you know, like okay, all right. Like hey, I think I feel a little talkative. Yeah, like okay, check, like whatever. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? But like, I think I'm gonna be sick. Everything's spinning. I never told the people they were drunk from non-alcoholic cocktails. That's my personal pleasure. Yeah, so there's been a well-known thing in like high school parties circles back when I was a kid where people used to make punch bowls. Like so everybody could go up to the punch bowl and get a refill. And as long as you could taste alcohol in it and people weren't like to the point where they're like basically alcoholics in high school, like it's senior year type stuff, as long as you put like a half a pint into like a 2-gallon punch bowl and people could taste the alcohol, it would still end up being a good party because people would get as loose as they wanted to. But when people think that they hammered down 6 beers and got wackadoo, yeah, it's pretty. Damn, 50 years of touring. Man. Man, oh man. It's coming for us all.
Can you?
Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, let's see. Weather, but it get terrifying. Diethylamine from DEET. Let's see. Giant steel chains. The wait is almost over. 1 pill, lifelong consequences. Film, thalidomide. Wow. My final round of chemotherapy. Sorry, one more. What's going on here?
Have you ever taken Benadryl or diphenhydramine?
There we go.
This is like Benadryl's cousin, triprolidine. This also is an antihistamine. This is a first-generation antihistamine, meaning it has an anticholinergic side effect. I'll explain that a little bit more later. So in this package, which I had special ordered for me, there is triprolidine.
Not even a milligram.
In this little bubblegum flavored dropper.
So it's 938 micrograms.
In a while. To me, that makes it sound like this is for children. However, there is no such thing as a children's medicine. Only the preparation that it comes in can be more easy for children to use. And it doesn't say anywhere on here that it's only for children. In fact, the directions say 12 and up. There's an NDC listed here, which I love to see. That's a sign of professionalism. In fact, if you just look at this box, it looks like a pharmaceutical grade box. For whatever reason, this is not carried in pharmacies. I was able to find a couple on Amazon, but not much. It's a very, very odd chemical. I hope to find out today why it's not used more. This is made by Westminster Pharmaceuticals.
Man.
So here you can see a diagram of the little dropper.
So it depends. Do you have like runny nose and like snotty when you eat? Is it when you eat you have an issue and you need antihistamines? Is it usually when you eat? Suki? As if so, I might have the key to the answer to your problems.
And each ml contains 0.938 milligram. I wonder how they came to that number.
Right.
Through tests, I guess. Not just like any
COVID. Okay, I'm gonna tell you two things that you may want to look into and maybe talk to your doctor or whatever. Look into. So one of them is natto. Not you know what natto you know what natto is, right? From Japan, the food. Natto kinase is an enzyme from that, which is used for some people with long COVID. And also bromelain, which is also used to help reduce. And one other thing, NAC, N-A-C, N-acetylcysteine. I'll bring them up on the screen so you can look into them. N-acetylcysteine. NAC, N-acetylcysteine. Okay. Is used as a mucilaginous, thick mucus. So for it's for lung conditions, thick mucus lung condition. So if that's one of the problems that you have, just got that the other day. There you go, brother. So NAC, N-A-C, N-acetylcysteine. Okay. Start looking into N-acetylcysteine and COVID, right? Okay, so make sure you write that down. NAC, N-A-C, N-acetylcysteine, and okay, all right. So start looking into that. Talk with your doctor about it. Okay, and then bromelain. Okay, the nattokinase. Oops. I can't spell. If I was a veggie, I'd be a cucumber. Okay, here's the other one. Natto, okay? Nattokinase. Nattokinase. All right? That's another very, very big thing. Nattokinase. All right, so NAC, N-acetylcysteine, nattokinase, and then one more, bromelain. All right? Bromelain. All right. You got it? You are right. ND. You got that too? Okay, there you go. Dorji knows what he's talking about. All right. Check that out. Yeah, yes, it's from bromelain. So bromelain is the enzyme in pineapple. I took it, screenshot. I'll be expecting a donation from you when you're better. Just kidding. Yes. Okay. So, and we can go into it if you really want to. But so if you understand about the spike protein and how it works throughout your body, how to fail. Which I thought you failed first. I did. I failed first. You have to start failing somewhere. How you doing? What's up, Stevie? Okay, let's see. All right, hold on. Okay, so bromelain and spike protein. All right. So the spike protein is what's created. It's on the outside of the COVID virus, and it's also what the COVID vaccine creates in your body. It kind of creates that spike protein so that your body can read it to make it. But long COVID, sometimes it creates too much of it. All right. So you're feeling sarcastic? That's all right, brother. So bromelain, an enzyme mixture from pineapples, has been shown in laboratories to target and cleave the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein and reduce the expression of host cell entry receptors. So it basically the overabundance of those spike proteins from long COVID, from COVID, it will help dissolve them. So will NAC. So will nattokinase. It'll help this, like, it'll help your body break down those so that you can get on top of it, so that your body can get on top of it. All right, I bet, Soki.
Histamine, especially first generation, there are warnings. Do not take if you have a breathing problem, trouble urinating. That's probably something to be cognizant of.
What up, P2P? P2P is inebriated. It will say silly shit here.
You take 2.67 ml.
Piss up a rope.
This is very odd stuff.
I don't like.
I hope the dropper in here is measured off to that 1/100th of an ml. I'm not going to be able to figure that out unless it is. And it has a phone number here as well. Now, these first generation antihistamines like diphenhydramine, doxylamine, chlorpheniramine, I believe is first generation. I took one not too long ago called pyrilamine. They cross the blood-brain barrier and they work in the brain. They block something called acetylcholine in the brain.
What did he say?
And that's why you get these.
He said, if you have trouble urinating, it said like from an enlarged prostate. So if you have an enlarged prostate, trouble peeing. Bill Maher is pretty skeptic, in my opinion. Can't believe the guy wished death on Trump like that. No. I don't know. Trouble peeing? I piss excellent.
Very drowsy side effects from them.
I don't watch him. I mean, I only see
so
his
in the
clips.
Human body, there's a chemical called histamine, and it's released from mast cells whenever there's an abrasion or some reason to cause inflammation, or there needs to be increased blood flow. Although those have important roles in the body, sometimes you don't want that. So
he's saying if this medication should not be taken if you have that problem. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't seem so far left. He seems to be center left compared to how far left the party is. There's a lot of old school leftists that are now the independents, we would call them. Why to avoid is men who look like women and fentanyl. Yes, he's talking about this medication. If it says on the directions of the box, if you have trouble urinating, if you have a enlarged prostate, do not take this medication. I was just reading this out. I will definitely try it out. None of my doctors really knows anything about long COVID in my area. Well, look into it, my friend. You'll find what you're looking for, and like I said, maybe talk with your doctor about it, and maybe they can learn. There's a lot of very good information out there. If you really want to find good stuff, Italy is doing very good work on what we're talking about. My dad hates Trump. I pray for him, man. Yeah, hate's a bad thing, brother. It's not similar to NAC and bromelain. No. This medication, no. I was just, Suki was. I went off topic from the video. No. Your dad's liberal. Your dad's a cuck, bros. Maybe we convince him to stop being silly. What up, Sir Keith? Yes, my son. Yeah. What up, Trey? Was how are the licensed pharmacists in 4 states? So still used to be licensed in 2 states. Continue to get pharma licenses. Yeah, he's collecting them. He's collecting them up. My dad's a great guy. He's just brainwashed. Right now, understood, brother. Understood. It happens to a lot of people. Half America is. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Antihistamine can stop those things from happening. For today, for me, my nose is runny, and I want to take this to see if it'll stop my runny nose. Additionally, a lot of people take these to stop a rash from forming. That increased blood flow from the histamine can cause a rash.
Yeah, you gotta love your dad.
And
listen,
of course, the allergy aspect can
this is the thing. This is why I tell people all the time: do not disrupt personal relationships over politics. He doesn't know what's true, but he believes something to be true. Why? Why does he believe that? Because of the media he consumes. Right? If you don't gather lots of media and actually take the time to dissect it, you won't find out that they're all lying. Right? So you should never disrupt a personal relationship over politics, because you don't know what's true. I don't know what's true. Your dad don't know what's true. We could take what we accept as truth. Lemon stops your nose from running? I love this guy's voice, the way he's explaining the video. Yeah, he's awesome. Make sure to keep telling him what not to get women to come feel. I love my pops too. Lost my dad many years ago to cancer. Which, man, second ago. Yeah. He was watching Bill Maher. Well, yeah. Ask what he thinks of. Ask him what he. No. Don't light no fires. But yeah, it's interesting to see.
It's itchiness, which we don't want a lot of the time. So let's open this up.
Yeah, he does have a very ASMR type voice. Like, we're gonna open up the box today. If you have trouble urinating, everything will be fine. But what you need to do, I have a runny nose today, and we don't like runny noses. But man, I was playing to your father that you want to leave. Yeah, I would say the same. Bill Maher is actually a great interview with the Christian guy. Man, it gets heavy. Yeah. Listen, Bill Maher doesn't know a whole lot. This is the thing about people. You don't know Bill Maher. I don't know Bill Maher. We feel like we know Bill Maher from what Bill Maher says. But what Bill Maher says is written for him to say. He's reading a teleprompter. Now, every once in a while, you'll see an interview with Bill Maher, or you'll see his podcast, and he'll get more open with that. But on like his show, the HBO show, it's scripted. So whatever's put in front of him, he's going to read because that's what he's paid to do. Batman. Lemon is frequently my tea to prevent healed runny nose. There you go. Yeah, boundaries are important.
Look at this dropper.
It's a big old dropper.
Why is it measured that way? Does anyone else find this odd? Wow. I think this looks really cool.
It's freaking... See, these are the type of people you want working for you. Like, if you own a pharmacy, this is the guy you want working for you. Somebody like this. Not some asshole that hates their life and just give me my freaking check. Is it 5 p.m. yet? Man, that plastic wrap sounds so annoying. I disagree. The only way to open mind and respect others' pain is not have boundaries. Yeah, that's really good idea, B2B.
I mean, this really does look like pharmaceutical grade quality, right? This looks like something you would buy from a pharmacy directly. The packaging is quite plain. Lift here? How am I supposed to lift here? My goodness.
He's got some big ass thumbs for sure. If I also have a nose when I rinse my nose when I shower, all the germs collected one day. Black hat pharmacist. I know that guy's knowledgeable. He really cares for the public. Yeah, no, he's great. He's great. When I hear someone eating a bag of chips, it makes me cool. Thank you, Raw. Thank you, brother. Thank you, my friend.
I think that's pretty odd. I wish I wouldn't have done that now. This is kind of annoying. Well, whatever. Let's open this up and try it out.
It's like I'm on the edge of my seat.
Very clear liquid.
Now you look at the CVS seats and I say, oh, it's a big one. When people touch styrofoam,
wow,
yeah, especially if they rub it together. My grandpa would lose it if you made noise eating the bag of chips or eating them with your mouth open. Yeah, I had one like that too. I hate it when people eat popcorn like in the cinema. Like, why now? Because it sells.
It smells great. It smells very, very bubblegummy. I think that this is going to be one of the best tasting medications I've ever tried. Now, how much am I supposed to take?
So listen. There's people like him. There's people like him that see everything positive for his future. Even the future. He's saying this is going to be the best thing I've ever tried before he even tries it. Like, some people are pessimists and some people are optimists. This man's an optimist, but logical, right? And it's just the way people see stuff, even little stuff like this smells good. It's going to be the best thing I've ever tasted. He hasn't tasted it. Some people will say, this person's going to ruin the world and blah, 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 blah. Pissed off old man swag. Been brainwashed.
7 ml. That's so weird.
We got a really good mic. Definitely a logical optimist. Yeah, definitely. So I'm saying, listen, you can choose your friend group. You can choose the people you marry. You can choose the people you hire. You can choose that. You can be picky. You can find great people in the world. Man, Rich, I have to tell you, I feel like a new human after 4 months taking the B told me through night psychology. Brother, I'm glad you decided to do so. It's unbelievable how many people are vitamin D3 deficient. And the government knows, the government that puts out the reports on, or the standards on how much people are supposed to take daily, they know they were wrong. And they know that this was since 2014, 2015. They know that they're wrong and they haven't updated it yet. So how many other people were feeling like you were feeling and could be feeling like you are feeling, or better in daily life? It reminds me of South Park episode where they convince everyone to drive cars shoved on their butt because they've trusted the science. Fools. It's almost like God sent me to buy this stuff because it was like I was dying before I started talking. Brother, God works in mysterious ways, my friend. Listen, my friend. Having been through the things that you told me you went through, I can about promise you will see a difference in it. Absolutely. Especially the B12, especially in order to repair the nerves in your brain, you need the chemistry in your body to do that. If you're in deficiency or insufficient in particular vitamins and minerals, the nerves, the nerve insulation, the myelin sheath, the chemicals, the neurotransmitters, that's just one vitamin, B12. And then D3 will work alongside as like the steroid. It's unbelievably important, but no one thinks it is because your doctors never bring it up. And you never hear, take your vitamins. Everybody, did you take 100% of your vitamin A yesterday? No, you never hear it. You see how a bunch of different medications used to do the same thing. I used to eat Oxycontins like they were Tic Tacs. A lot of people did, brother. Thank you, Stevie. Thank you, brother. I'm lacking so much energy. I feel like death at 36. Yeah, well, I did too. And I did that. And I stayed that way till 45 when I finally said, what's going on? And I look at the side of a freaking a boxed food label and it says 8% of your daily vitamin A. And I think to myself, am I getting my vitamins? And then so I start looking up, okay, ADHD, vitamin deficiencies and ADHD symptoms. Oh, well, vitamin B12 deficiency can mimic ADHD. And I'm like, well, I was 6'4", 138 pounds, and the doctor never said to me, you might be malnourished. Yeah, don't do that, Vita B. Listen, everyone, it's definitely knowledgeable on these vitamins. We all need that. Listen, everybody knows they need them. You know that you have 100%, you have a requirement of what you're supposed to get in a day. You know it. But nobody does it because it's all expected. And when you go to a doctor, the doctor is expecting that you're getting 100% of your daily vitamins and minerals. And now you have problems other than that. And they're not going to check. They're just going to say, have you been eating well? Yes. That means, yes, I'm getting 100% of my daily vitamins and minerals. I like your water intake. You drink enough water. So water can be a double-edged sword. It can also rinse minerals from you. Water used to have minerals in it a lot. And now it doesn't. Yeah, whole milk's good stuff. I believe I do, my friend, Stevie. I believe I do.
So I have to take 2, this is difficult for you to see. 1 ml is all the way up here. So I have to take 2 mLs and then 6.67. For any prescribers who clicked on this video, were you thinking about prescribing this? Is that why you're watching this? If so, I don't know. Let's see how this tastes and how it works here. I mean, right away I don't like this because I have to... I can't see up inside this barrel to see if it's a full ml or not. I guess this goes directly in the mouth, right?
Yeah, might as well, buddy. He's probably taking way too much. He loves it.
I know this is weird, but it has an antihistamine taste to it. If you've ever taken diphenhydramine liquid, it almost kind of has like
a lot of people these days don't want to hear
I'm
good,
not even kidding.
good
That's
knowledge
how
anymore.
I describe it.
It's like everyone.
Bitter wood.
It's like everyone is walking zombie and they stay stuck in that cycle. And why do you think they're stuck in that cycle? Why do you think everybody just feels like the world's going to end and everything feels like shit and everything's depressing and everyone's anxious and no one's healthy and everybody needs health care? Why? Why does everybody want to vote to open the border just so we get free health care? Why are they willing to risk other people's safety and education and the ability to have a home and all that just to get free health care? Why? Because they feel like crap all the time. But why? What are they not doing? They would think, well, I need health care to get on antidepressants or anti-anxieties. Why? All I drink is motor oil and bison urine. Straight from the tap. Straight from the tap.
Wood. And I can definitely taste that in it. But the bubblegum flavoring more than overpowers it.
That's probably why
whoever designed this as far as flavoring goes, you did a good job. That was my pose for the thumbnail of this video. So,
I love it.
This is what we have to figure out.
Gotcha.
How drowsy is this going to make me, actually? There really wasn't a whole lot of medication in there, right? That was only 2.5 milligram. If you recall, diphenhydramine is dosed at 25 milligram, or 12.5 milligram, I think, for children. Now, I've been experiencing quite a bit with these first-generation antihistamines lately, and the one that absolutely
he's taking a triprolidine. First generation antihistamine, anticholinergic. What's up, Ocean brother? Maybe get a Myers cocktail. Listen. The problem is we're not eating properly. If you're not eating the whole animal and the wide variety of vegetables and fruits, then you have to supplement your diet. You have to. If you're not eating kidneys and liver and stuff, you have to supplement your diet, because how else are you going to get the minerals that are in those things? How else are you going to get the vitamins that are in high enough doses that are in these other organs? And this is why I think you have people that live in the mountains of like Tibet and stuff that eat the whole animal. Nothing goes to waste. The intestines, the brains, everything. So it makes sense. And they drink water from the ground. So it's got a bunch of dissolved minerals in it. So when they drink a glass of water, it's not filtered and then freaking chlorinated and all wackadoodled out. We don't. He came to my country to check out a pharmacy. I heard he's trying to get a out of country license. He wants to be four states and another country.
On my face was pyrrolidine. I didn't even have, technically speaking, pharmacologically speaking, the pyrrolidine shouldn't even cause as much drowsiness as diphenhydramine. But oh my gosh, I took pyrrolidine and I couldn't stay awake. It was like some wave of intoxication came over me, and I couldn't make it. So I'm interested to see how this compares to the other two that I just mentioned there as far as drowsiness. While we're waiting for that to kick in, I wanted to show you some of the second generation antihistamines. Now these are pretty common, most people know them by their brand name. And these ones don't cross the blood-brain barrier, and they don't have that anticholinergic effect. It doesn't block acetylcholine. They're strictly histamine receptor blockers.
Right.
However,
what up, Walrus?
That being said, depending on who you ask, some folks will say the first generations don't.
Well, they seem to like the uppers too. How are you doing besides vitamins? What am I doing besides? Nothing. I don't take anything else. I take vitamins and minerals. That's it. And coffee. But I use coffee to get my vitamins and minerals, and I get my cocoa is a very interesting thing. If you don't eat a bunch of chocolate with sugar in it, cocoa, high flavanol cocoa, releases twice. So I'll tell you what. I won't tell you that. I had an issue that I had for years. When I started adding cocoa to my coffee, within, I would say, 6 months of starting that, an issue that I had for 7 years is now gone. And it's unbelievable. Okay, and so now cocoa, high flavanol cocoa, 70, 80 or more percent of cocoa, cocoa, so I use 100%, releases twice the amount of free stem cells from your bone marrow. So stem cells are what can help repair your body properly. And if they're your own stem cells, it's better that you know, they're your own stem cells. Oh, how's it going? Oh, everything's going good. Everything's going good, brother. I don't take any vitamins. I think I will start there. Brother, listen, join the Discord if you want to talk about it, or you can get my email off of my bio. It's 110th grade at gmail.com. And if you have specific issues, like that match the issues that I had, I'll tell you what I take and what worked for me. Intermittent hypoxia, breath hold system, release stem cells. That's correct. That's correct. Cocoa, yeah, cacao, yes, the stuff that chocolate's made of. Walrus. Can you repeat or show us? Yeah. So it's the stuff chocolate's made out of. Okay, yeah. So there's a link in the chat to join my Discord, 110th grade. No problem, brother. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to save the world, my friend. Okay, this is it, Walrus. Cocoa. So, okay. So eating high flavanol cocoa or dark chocolate can mobilize double the amount of circulating stem cells in your bloodstream, helping your body repair blood vessels and heart tissue. Small clinical studies, University of California, found that drinking. So why did people conquer countries and used to just take ground up raw cocoa in water, hot chocolate? Why were they doing it back then? It tasted like shit. It was bitter, but it did something for them that they knew. That's just forgotten now that we allowed companies to take over medicine. You got it? All right.
Them drowsy, but the second generations do, and vice versa. So, like, the worst thing about medicine, and the part I hate most about my job, is that you can't argue with anyone. They'll just be like, oh no, it does. They could be like, oh, I take an antihistamine and it fixes my broken leg or something. I don't know. And you can't really argue with them.
Cocoa and peppers and a
What I mean by all that is that
so black pepper, pepperine is it helps things absorb across the gut lining. This GABA magnesium glycinate L-theanine supplement that I take has black pepper in it to help it absorb faster. And does it freaking work? Yes. So I've got one without black pepper and one with it. And I tell you what, DITD, dingling in the dirt. What up, John? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Yep. Yeah, GABA's great. I'm really glad I found it. You should get a Myers cocktail IV, which has glutathione. But you should also have them add vitamin C as well if you want much better. $120, not bad. So I take potassium glutamate, which has got potassium, and so it's got elemental potassium and glutamate in it. Got glutamate, glutamine in it together. So you're getting both. And the same thing with my magnesium. You need magnesium. You need it. So magnesium, and I take magnesium glycinate. So you get magnesium and glycine, both things that you very, very much need. Magnesium, absolutely more. So why not take? Because other forms of magnesium can don't absorb through the intestines. So it just gives you diarrhea. Hot chili pepper can literally save you from infections. Yeah, well, yeah, listen, when you look at the things that were done in history, why did they use the foods? What benefit did people get? Do you think people liked eating I mean, maybe some people like eating spicy stuff, but they found a benefit. Why do you think tobacco was grown? Why did you think a bunch of people said, "Hey, we're being oppressed in England. We can't practice our religion." So they came to America and started planting a bunch of tobacco and stuff in order to make sure that they had what they need for their people. Gluconate. There you go. There you go. What did I say? I will look into that. Yeah. Potassium butyrate. Star.
Your mileage may vary.
Right. Your mileage may vary is a old thing from the Arrowhead channels. Like they would say swim like someone who isn't me. Uh-oh.
I'm just,
Yeah, if he's not feeling it, ibuprofen cocktail will make him feel right. But right. Well, we're just talking about general life health. Like, yes, if you have vitamin deficiencies, that will absolutely help. But you can't just get $120 IV every week. You should be making sure that those levels don't drop down. If you're feeling well when you take that, if it brings you, it means you're enough in deficiency that you can feel yourself coming out of deficiency, right? So if you find a daily dose of those vitamins and minerals that are in there, and make sure that you take that's important. The indigenous people of South America used to praise cacao as a gift from God. Right. Why do you think they did that? Especially when it tasted bad. Remember, they didn't have access to sugar that much, refined sugar. They might add honey, but when they made hot chocolate, it was just hot water and ground cocoa nibs. So it was bitter. But it did good work for him. It was very medicinal. Only royalty. That's right. Because they had to come from like Africa, and they would get it over. So it wasn't given to the slaves and stuff. It was given to royalty, the leaders and the warriors. The Aztecs drank spicy chocolate. Right. They absolutely did.
I need to. I'm just gonna lay down. Like I don't. Well, I think we know now why that's not more popular. That thing, that little dropper full, knocked me on my butt. Oh my goodness, I couldn't stay awake. By the way, to give you some context, I had just woken up.
No.
This was at 9.
No. The problem with multivitamins is you can find expensive ones that are formulated correctly, but almost every one that I have access to has versions or forms of the vitamins or minerals that do not absorb. Like a lot of the times when you look at the magnesium, they have magnesium oxide. And when you take magnesium oxide by mouth, only about 4% of it gets into your blood and your body. You just poop out the rest. And that goes for a lot of the other vitamins and minerals. They don't have like the active forms, because if they did, the pill would be this big. So they can't. And things that require proper ratios, like vitamin D3 to vitamin K2, they can't fit enough in there. So they add, so it tricks you into, many of them trick you into thinking, I got 100% of my daily vitamins and minerals. I'm good. But how much of it did you absorb? Right? And that's the big problem. Balanced diet, a well-functioning gut is the answer. Yes, I agree. I agree. I think we're at where we are. And sunlight. You need sunlight. Your body, without you need you need fat, you need cholesterol. Okay. Sunlight hits your skin and turns cholesterol into vitamin D3. But now that we live like this, glass in your car and in your house reflects UV light. It filters out UV light because UV light will bleach your carpets and plastics and stuff. So they put UV coatings on them. But then that UV, so even if you have sunlight coming in through the window, it's not turning your cholesterol into vitamin D3. And we don't work outside 8 hours a day anymore. Hardly anybody does. So how are you going to get it? How are you going to get the vitamin D3 unless you supplement with it? I take nothing. Yeah. You're going to be in a rough place, brother, especially with the little bit of your history that I know about. You need to go. You only need to go and do one IBS to get your body set up, then start taking. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Yeah. I mean, if you go to a doctor, they can give you shots. I mean, they can give you like intramuscular shots for vitamin B12 and stuff like that too. Yeah. They are. Yeah, like even like 1994, the university or Johns Hopkins University said that multivitamins are an expensive way to make yellow pee. Migraine meds, well, you might see that you might not need them anymore. Oddly enough. Did Mitch move to China, retire? Probably, Jamie. He's probably hanging out there. Just take a spoonful of vinegar and magnesium oxide, turns into magnesium acetate. Yeah, you can do that. That's if you've already got magnesium oxide. Why not just get a magnesium with like glycine in it also? And it helps you listen, it calms you and it makes falling asleep easier. So, and you need magnesium. Freaking super important. So why wouldn't you take magnesium glycinate just at night before bed? Why not? Now you're getting your magnesium and it's helping you calm you down, help you fall asleep. Why not? You need it anyway. How else are you getting the amounts of magnesium that you need? I might several separate. Yeah, it's very important, brother. It's very important. Especially going through that kind of stuff. Like it's your guts are guaranteed the wreck. Guaranteed. That's my main problem. I have health issues with my stomach. Yeah, you can fix that stuff too. Brother. So if your stomach and intestines aren't in working order, how do you get the vitamins and minerals from your food into your body? You can't. And then all the other health effects, the exhaustion, the fatigue, the malaise, the depression, the anxiety, the headaches. Because when your guts aren't in proper working order, you don't have this layer in your intestines called mucin. It's like a snot. It's a mucus layer that keeps out water-soluble toxins. It keeps them going into the toilet rather than into your bloodstream. So once your guts start to go downhill, your health is quick to follow. Have you tried vinegar? I used to drink vinegar. Yeah. I used to drink, but I don't need to anymore. But yeah, absolutely. I used to take a shot of Mother's. What was it called? Not Mother's. It's can't remember the name of it anymore. I probably still have a bottle of it with the Mother. Unfiltered vinegar, apple cider vinegar with the Mother. I've been forcing myself to eat for years. Yeah, brother. It can change, my friend. Acetate is potent HCAC. Never lifts the mood, makes you creative. Natural rhythm. Do you agree that IBS is the disease of the century? Well, there's a lot of IBS. There's a lot of, listen, people do not understand what antibiotics can do to your biotics. Like antibiotics can destroy your gut bacteria and you need them. I would agree once the stomach stuff started with my health went, yeah, right. Yeah. How are you going to get the vitamins and minerals that, listen, yes. Just yes. That's the answer. Yes. You absolutely, you need your guts. The food you put in your mouth it gets turned into bolus. You chew it up. It goes through your stomach acid, which starts breaking the molecules apart. The stomach acid breaks the molecules apart, or breaks the food apart, the compounds, molecules into the chemicals that you need. Then your intestines filter it, feed it through, move it through as it absorbs the water and nutrients and things out. If your stomach and guts are not in working order, you're just turning food into poop. You're not extracting the nutrition from it. And then a lot of things, if you're not extracting nutrition from your food, you're just getting deficient. I recommend whole wheat porridge for breakfast. Whole wheat. I don't eat any breakfast. I don't eat breakfast at all.
Or 10 in the morning, I think. and I fell asleep for 3 hours. And before I fell asleep, I felt a very weird sensation come over me. It was like a cocoon of like serenity. I don't know. I felt very comfortable after I laid down. And then I had dreams where I could see the words coming out of people's mouths. When they would speak, letters and phrases would come out. And before I fell asleep, I mean, I don't know how much of the footage I have of myself, but like, I definitely wasn't with it. But one of the most striking things about this, it didn't do anything for my nose. I still have a runny nose.
Right.
Last night I was sneezing. That's why I wanted to try this.
They put out drugs like this that people get high off of, and then they're like, "Oh, what's it good for?" Runny nose. I got that. My nose gets runny all the time. I should definitely get that. Mom, can you pick up some of this? I you know.
Today I didn't sneeze at all today, though. That is worth noting. But my nose is still runny. Like, I just blew my nose. I can blow my nose again right now. So it did not have that drying effect that you see with Benadryl, for example. Benadryl is very drying. If you take that, it's like a hurricane going through your nose. Like, it's very, very dry. So similar to Pyrilamine, which is something I've taken before. This is like,
Stevie.
I would almost call this a sleep aid. This is more anticholinergic than anything.
Dude, that zinc bisglycinate, freaking. Have you gotten sick at all? Have you since you've been taking the zinc bisglycinate? I haven't had a cold. I haven't had a flu. I haven't had anything. I mean, nothing. Wake up every day, get to work. Yeah. Important message. Just remember, one milliwatt, 1,000 milliwatt green laser pointed at a flock carefully 10 feet away for a few minutes. It's going to cost $3,500 to replace it. Is it the same one? Wake up, smell the coffee. Acetate is a miracle molecule. Not everyone's body works the same way, and effects may be different for other drugs. For this, yes, right. So, but everybody's body works the same way, vitamin and mineral wise, generally. Like our bodies use dopamine, our bodies use serotonin. Well, what do we need to make that? We need B vitamins to make those chemicals. We need so like that. But when it comes to pharmaceuticals, yeah, you got no idea what's going on. You don't know the vitamin and mineral levels of the different thousands of millions of different people taking those different things. What did I miss here? Okay. Bam. Dun, 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 dun. There you go. There's Stevie's morning coffee routine. Crazy to think though, as a private law enforcement, protect people from pharmaceutical scams. Brother, listen. It would destroy the economy if that happened. It would destroy the economy. Give me a second, Monk. Yeah, there you go. D3 flavored drops, B12, zinc bisglycinate, vitamin D3, hydrolyzed collagen. Yeah. That's what I think. Type 1 and type 3. All right, let's see here. What's this one for? All right, boom, 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 boom. Can vinegar improve symptoms of depression? Yes, every month we analyze studies the background. In addition to cooking with vinegar, sometimes used as a dietary supplement. Suspected benefits on blood sugar. Research is vinegar may increase metabolites of serotonin signaling in the brain. Just be happy our government made the Sackler family opens up lawsuits. Yeah, absolutely. It's not that expensive. It's not. Listen, it'll cost you about, so if you take B12 it's about $25 for 60 B12. Okay, if you're deficient, you don't need to take one every day, right? I took them every day until I stopped feeling them. And then I started taking them every 4th day. So 2 months will last, 2 months supply, 60 pills will last you 8 months. So divide that down to your daily, okay? D3, you should absolutely take daily. It's probably 25 cents a day, 30 cents a day. Okay, a scoop of collagen a day, and you get like 60 scoops to a jug, which is like $25. So that's less than 50 cents a day. Less than, so like 30 cents a day. Yeah, so you're talking about $1 a day, probably $1, $2 a day. If you get everything, it's probably $2 a day, because you don't need, like, the D3 you got to take every day unless you're spending a lot of time out in the sun. The D3 you got to take every day. The magnesium you take at night, and they're cheap. These are like $20 for 120 capsules. I think this is, but I don't take, like, I take these individually. I take one, I don't take two. But yeah, but the thing is, it's just to not, it's better to be just below, like, if you don't, because you'll start making more money. Like, if you feel better all the time and you find yourself sitting around, be like, hey, I can go mow somebody's lawn. I can go freaking help put up a deck. I could, you'll make more money. So if you felt better more than half the time than you feel better now, you can make more money. So it's worth it, that investment in yourself. But when you're depressed, when you're anxious, you don't. And I think people are afraid what they'll have to start doing if they start feeling better. Like, now I got to take over the world. I should hire the telemedicine asset about how to cognitive performance in certain domains. Pharmaceuticals. My body don't like nootropics, mushrooms, lion's mane. That's what the mushrooms. Well, yeah, and there absolutely may be a reason for that. It may be if your guts, if your intestines aren't in perfect, like, very good working order, then when you eat them, your intestines aren't pulling those compounds out of that food and bringing it into your body. So it can be different. Absolutely. It can be different. Absolutely. And, like, if it's going to boost serotonin or dopamine, usually it's going to use one of the B vitamins in your body. And if you don't have enough, it doesn't have the chemistry to do the chemistry. It's like saying I want to mix like baking soda and vinegar, but you have baking soda and no vinegar. So you can't do the rest of the chemical reaction. Is this the same one? Access restricted. I must spend too much time on it. All right, let's see.
So what do you think? Have you tried this monstrosity? The only way, at least that I know of, you can get this is if you have a independent pharmacy, or typically Rite Aid will special order things. So you can special order it. I've never seen a prescription for it before in my life. I've never seen this before until I bought it. I just briefly looked on Amazon, and they do have 2 products that contain the triptyline. So the Flonase nighttime allergy relief, that's straight triptyline. And then there's a Mucinex night shift, which is $14, 20 caplets. That's actually good for Mucinex. Honestly, they're very expensive. And that comes with acetaminophen, which is like a pain reliever, dextromethorphan, which is a cough suppressant, and phenylephrine, which is supposed to be a nasal decongestant, but it doesn't do anything. The FDA is going to pull that soon. So you can buy it, but I've never seen this. Like, this Flonase and this Mucinex thing, this has to be new. All right, folks, thanks for sticking around with me during this video. Stick around to the channel. Let's see what I can mess up next.
Nice. Yeah, so and there's also a very interesting thing. When I was younger, when we had stomach aches and stuff, we would take vinegar, not antacids. So how do you know if the issue with your stomach is too much acid or too little acid? Sometimes when you take things, your stomach produces more acid. So it could have been low in acid, and then you take something that, like, and just the act of putting something in your mouth and swallowing it, your stomach can produce more acid in preparation of digestion. I found it suspicious that this industry of nutrition supplementation is not controlled by the FDA. But you don't find it suspicious that the medical industry is controlled by the FDA and they don't freaking really help anybody? like in a positive way when you add it all together? Yeah, dude, you have to look up GRAS, GRAS, generally recognized as safe. So a company can say, hey, this ain't killed anybody yet, but it makes our product 8 cents cheaper to make. So we'll put this chemical in your food, and until it hurts somebody, it's recognized as safe. Yeah, so you can't trust those people. And so going back, Miramar, right? So is the problem if you take antacids, then you don't have the acid that you need at the levels that you need it to dissolve the food compounds, the vitamins and minerals from the food, so that the vitamins and minerals can be absorbed in your body. Then you live in deficiency because you got to get the. How are you supposed to get the vitamins and minerals out of the food with no stomach acid or very little? Yeah, so that can be bad. How you doing, Miramara? Antacids are acids. They're bases. Different acid making the pH of your stomach change. So some antacids are not acids. They're bases to counteract the acid, like Tums. Tums are antacids, and they're calcium, chloride, calcium. They're bases. So they're above 7. To lower the acid. Now there's other ones. I don't think I know Joe Rickaday. To Caravel, you appear to be a feminized YouTuber. Thank you. I do. For real, why don't they plant some vineyards and orchards and orchid gardens if they want to help? I do. I've got a lot growing. I've got chickens. I got 8 hens to give me my eggs. I've got freaking vegetables. I got bok choy growing. I've got tomatoes. I've got okra. I got a bunch of stuff. Yeah. NES, TLES. They're trying to take away our gut brain, right? One of the most important thing, it appears. Like, listen, because you only do 3 things for your body. Three things. It depends if you're religious or not. You either pray or you meditate. You eat, drink, and you exercise. If you eat and drink, but your intestines aren't in good working order and your stomach acid's not in good working order, you can't get the vitamins and minerals, proteins, denatured and stuff from your food. You're just eating stuff and turning it into poop. Trying. What up, Mr. George? They're putting chemicals in water. Turn the freaking frogs gay. Your answer's fair enough, but only the industry can be 100% reliable. That's my point. It can't be. Well, so what's in the jar, what's in the pill can be reliable because there's third-party lab testing and things like that. So it's the FDA says a company will say this product will freaking make your butt cheeks stop itching. Okay, great. So then the FDA says prove that it can do that. All right, fine. And then the company can have some studies and prove that you make your butt cheeks stop itching. So, but how the body works is there's things saying, hey, your body needs vitamin D. And then a supplement company says, well, I sell vitamin D. I'm not going to tell you what it does. I'm not going to tell you what it's good for. I'm just going to tell you what it is. And if you've looked through yourself, your problems, you've looked through research and you say, hey, I might be, then you go get that supplement. You're supplementing your diet. Things that are supplements typically are things that are typically found in foods. If you don't eat those foods, how are you getting those things? That's why what a supplement, you're supplementing your diet. Yeah, I got it, brother. I got calcium carbonate. There you go. Calcium carbonate. I could grow quails for an old man in this area. Just yeah, right. If you've got area, if you've got a little bit of land, I'm not talking about acres. I'm talking about a half an acre, quarter acre. You can make money off of it. Listen, a lot of people that just have lawn, and we looked at something about this yesterday. If you just have lawn, you ain't making money off your land. Mr. George, I believe it's giving gay people in Iraq because of something to the U.S. weapons. No way. And Iraq is the number 2 place in the world that does transgender surgery. Look it up. Iraq. First is Thailand. The most gender affirming surgeries in the world is done. The number 1 country that does gender reassignment surgery is Thailand. Number 2 is Iraq. That's crazy. Alec Jones, yeah, it's seems like, I tell you, when they bring up courts misinformation, it's 99%. You're right. That's right, brother. No too much. They give a lot of medicine for side effects that they produce. Yeah, it seems like a very good way to make money. They give you a pill to help with your runny nose, but it gives you diarrhea. So then you got to go get a pill for your diarrhea, but that gives you headaches. So then you got to get a pill for your headaches. So now now they're giving you a pill to stop something that's causing something else that they're giving you another pill for. So that turned your one purchase into 3 or 4 purchases every freaking day or every month. He was a YouTuber and then a television personality. He started off on the news. So and now he's like a podcaster guy. You mentioned how lots of people get useless degrees. What about degrees is not useless, but insanely hard to utilize? For example, a film director degree, it's insanely hard to get a film director job. Yeah, I think it's a bad idea. Why would you get a degree in directing films? If you love films, and you just spend all your time online learning about directing, why wouldn't you do that? And then grab your phone and start making short films, 2-minute films, 5-minute films, to show your directing skills. That would be much more worth it than saying, hey, I went and I got a degree from freaking blah, 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 for film direction. Like, what's the use of the degree? Now there is the use for that degree. If you don't know anybody around you that wants to make films with you and you go to film school, then you're surrounded with a bunch of people that want to do what you want to do. So you can find friends and network. So that's usually how people like that build a network with people that like-minded people. Kahora! Thank you. How you doing, Kahora? I don't mean specifically film drama. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, but you definitely, like, it. If there's not a job on the other side of that education, if there's not industry looking for people with those degrees, it doesn't seem to make sense to get the degrees. Vendetta, create an issue and sell the solution. Yeah. Caught between a rock and a hard place. What up, Snuffles? Thoroughly wash your ass. It won't itch. Let's swap ass. No. These are some freaking $15 Amazons. I don't even know what brand they are. I probably find the box somewhere. Alex had a show called InfoWars. Yeah, InfoWars. Oh, you're at BK? Burger King? They get you one pill, next thing you know, another pill, train test. Yep, side effect. Most called conspiracy theories. A lot of stuff leaked the government. Right. Yeah. So far, there was only one big thing he was wrong about. They gave me antidepressant pills to stop smoking and other to sleep. I didn't need antidepressant pills at all. Yeah, and then look at what happens when you come off those pills. Look at the side effects. High anxiety. High rates of depression that the pills can cause when you come off of them from the withdrawal. And often that's why people go back to smoking. But just be careful, brother. You want a MacBook now? Like a monster logo. All right, let's see what we're looking for here. Yeah, not Cymbalta. Wellbutrin, is that what you're on? It's bupyrone. Is that what you're on? For to quit smoking, is that what they gave you? I think that's what they typically use here. I can't remember the name of the pill. I understood you can do stuff on your phone. I was talking about that, saying there's degrees that aren't useless, but insanely hard, not zero, but right. So why would you do it? So if you could get an insanely hard degree that cost you $100,000 to get the degree, why would you do that? I just, especially now, now, there's not, and except for like doctors and lawyers, anybody, any company, if you're talented, is going to hire you. They're not going to care how you got educated. They're not going to care. They'll like it better if you don't have a degree, because they can pay you less at start, so you prove yourself. You know, it's like you have to tell me a degree that you're talking about, because all these other degrees, there's no industry for those degrees except teaching more people to get those degrees. Alex Jones still owns it. No, I thought he just lost. No. It's gone, brother. It's gone as of like last week. Alex Jones loses InfoWars. Let me see if I can find it. 2026. Yeah, here it is. Okay, conspiracy theorists lost the news site. Yeah, so The Onion owns it now. The Onion. EnviroPro! The Onion owns it now. On its final InfoWars broadcast, potential takeover by satirical news site The Onion. My biological clock is destroyed for years and I can't fix it. You can fix it, brother. You need to make sure your body's getting what it needs, and you need to get on a good sleep cycle. I mean, that's what I would do for myself. He lost all his assets to the school thing. Well, that started to go crazy, and then so he doesn't own InfoWars anymore. And I think he's doing a supplement nutrient company. Yeah. So Walrus, a lot of times that biological clock has to do with vitamin D3. So if you don't get enough sunlight throughout the day to make sure that your body knows when is day, so you're having problems sleeping, is that what you're talking about with biological clock? Bam. This freaking kid, dude, he's gonna end up in a freaking...
My new slogan: ripping trails and ripping cheeks.
Freaking kids. Damn, the Onion did throw upon it, man. Why is this Onion even around people that like that shit? Yes, I see how business. Brother, listen, they're making money off of that, dude. A lot of people like that stuff, and a lot of people get fooled by it. You know, a lot of people think it's the news. Still, every day there's more people turning freaking 16 and getting on the internet and saying, "Oh, look at this," blah blah blah, and not knowing it's real, and getting tricked, and then mailing it to their friends, like sharing it with their friends, and that happens a lot. The whole prank culture. And this freaking flatulent kid, Space Cow, seems to like a lot. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see. Funniest parts are people shared Onion article. Yeah. And it keeps going. Every day, new kids are turning whatever age that they think that's funny. And then they do it for a couple of months. And then a new group of kids turned that age that they think it's funny. All right, let's see. Got bit by a dog, cost him 4 limbs. Jeez.
A dog lover in Wisconsin woke up vomiting with pain running through his legs. The next morning, he could barely walk or speak clearly. At the hospital, bruise-like patches began appearing across his body, and within days, surgeons would have to remove both legs and part of both arms. He remembered no bite or scratch. Doctors suspected contact with dog saliva. Welcome to Diagnosis Glitch.
Oh, damn.
This story is based on documented events. All names are real. On June 26, 2018, Greg Mantefel looked like a man with a vicious stomach bug. He was 48 years old, living in West Bend, Wisconsin. He painted houses for a living, rode a motorcycle, and had spent his life around dogs. His wife, Dawn, worked nights.
Freaking
When she came
dogs.
home from her shift, Greg told her he had been vomiting and that his legs hurt. There was no dramatic wound to explain it. Greg and his family remembered no animal attack, bite, or scratch that would make a doctor immediately think about bacteria from a dog's mouth. Greg was simply sick. By early the next morning, that explanation was collapsing. His son heard him moving around the house. Greg was speaking in a way that did not make sense. He could barely walk. He also had diarrhea. His family got him to a hospital near their home, and during the short trip, Dawn noticed something that had not been there minutes earlier. Dark, bruise-like patches were appearing across Greg's body. They were not ordinary bruises.
Degrees,
they were an external warning that
degrees, not hard or easy. I used to like gender studies, but the degrees where you can actually get a job, but it's extremely hard after graduating to get a job with it. So listen, it's risk reward. Okay, if your goal is to make money, you have to determine if the cost of the degree is worth the gamble that you'll get the job. Now, if you've got the ability to wait out the market maybe for a year or two or whatever, and then sure, if it's worth it to you. But nowadays, the cost of the schooling is so absurd that it would put you behind like 3 years, 4 years, if you gave every penny that you made back to after taxes to the finance company to pay off that degree. Sure, but you'll probably give like 10%, not even that. So you'll be paying it all for 10, 15 years. Sure, if you think you can get the job, but is it worth it? Can you get the job without the degree? Like it depends what you're talking about. If you require a degree like law or doctor, then I can absolutely understand that. But what degrees do they have today that you can't just learn on your own and then get the certificates? This is the type of thing, or if you just have to have the knowledge, because if you prove yourself, then that's still, and if it takes you a year to proving yourself every month, putting in a new application to the same place over and over again, and you show hunger, then that's great. Then you get the job, and you haven't put in 4 years of school and all of that money. It just seems like if the point is to make money, why would you spend so much money on something that doesn't have a reward at the end of it? I think it'd be funny if somebody that's a hardcore conspiracy theorist only reads the Onion, real news site, and believes everything. I guarantee there are. I guarantee you've got people that are so mid-witted that they're just pissed off all day. They think all that shit's real. Did you hear that frickin' Trump doesn't allow the frickin' Martians to go to the moon because they're building a border wall during an asteroid belt? I want to understand the culture in the U.S. and America. If a prominent person faces scandal or public backlash, whether justified or not, they resign from their position. They don't resign. They don't resign. What? Hold on. If a prominent person faces a scandal or public backlash, whether justified or not, they resign. No, they don't typically resign. No, unless it's absolutely like if it gets to the point where they're going to go to jail, like if it's something that they did that was illegal, stealing money or whatnot, or they find that they're stealing money and they say, hey, we're finding out you're stealing money. You resign and sign this paper saying that you stole money and you ruin your reputation, or you go to jail. Then they'll be like, okay, else they're just gonna go on with their lives. They wouldn't do it publicly like that. The most important thing to these politicians is their reputations, what they're willing to do for other people. And if they find, and if they're helping other people get rich, because listen, crime families are a thing. Mobs and mafia and gangs are a thing. And a lot of people get into positions of power to help their mobs and gangs and crime bosses. Absolutely.
Something had gone catastrophically wrong inside his blood vessels. His care continued at Froedtert Hospital in Milwaukee. Blood tests eventually identified a bacterium with a name that sounds almost...
Manager easily gets a job. With the example, I bought up film directing after graduating, but can't get a job. Very hard film direct job. Right. And you shouldn't, like I said, if you're going to film school, the reason you should go to film school isn't for an education in film. It's to surround yourself with the people that will help you get a job. Because if you go to school with 500 people at the school that are all trying to get into the film industry, and you try to be cool with as many people as you can, one of them will get the job, and you're hoping that one of them will give you a call, or you'll get, but that's what it's for. It's the degree doesn't matter. You never hear Star Wars by freaking Richard, graduate of blah, blah, blah film school. No one cares in those industries what school you went to. They care if you can freaking direct a film, right? So, right. Like I didn't go to film school and I ended up in the movie industry, so but business management, that's a good place. That's if that's what you want to do. But usually people that are successful, their companies will send them to school, or families will send them to school for business management because there's a business to manage at the end of that. You know what I mean? And sometimes people do it, and then work a freaking minimum wage job for a couple of years until they can work their way up in the company that they're working for with management. So it shouldn't be every person in America going to school just to get a degree and blowing a bunch of money, especially on that bullshit stuff. What up, Calvin? RFK should get right on that disease after he stores coke off the toilet seats.
Harmless when
I'm sure he'll be on it. I'm sure he'll be on it right after he's done.
Slowly. Capnocytophaga canomorsis. It's commonly found in the mouths of dogs and cats. Most people live around these bacteria without ever knowing they exist. Most bites do not cause this particular infection. Most contact with pet saliva causes nothing at all. Greg's case was the exception that breaks the reassurance. His infection had entered his bloodstream and triggered sepsis. His immune system was no longer fighting a local invader. The response had become body-wide.
Damn.
Blood pressure fell, organs were threatened.
I made a film about a broken clock
against him. The condition,
but it was a waste of time.
is called disseminated intravascular coagulation, or DIC. Normally, clotting is local and deliberate. A vessel's damaged, a clot forms at that spot, and bleeding stops. In DIC, the system fires across the circulation. Tiny clots form inside small blood vessels throughout the body. They consume platelets and clotting proteins as they spread, which creates a contradiction. The patient can be clotting and bleeding at the same time. For Greg,
did you hear
the clots strangle circulation to the parts of his body farthest from his heart. That is what the bruise.
Yes, brother. Yes, I heard that.
Like patches were announcing. Blood could no longer reach his hands and feet normally. Without oxygen, tissue began to die. Antibiotics could attack the bacteria, but they could not restore tissue that had already lost its blood supply. The infection was clearing. The damage kept advancing. Surgeons first removed Greg's legs below the knees. Later, they removed parts of both forearms. Reports from his hospitalization describe at least 10 operations before he was discharged. The familiar version of this story says that a dog licked a man and doctors took his hands and feet. The documented version is more careful and, in some ways, more frightening. Greg had been around several dogs, including his own pit bull. His family said he had no remembered bite or scratch. His doctors believed dog saliva was likely the source, possibly transferred to an opening in the skin or to his mouth or eye, but no one witnessed the exact moment of transmission and no test could identify which dog was involved.
Jeez.
The lick was a clinical inference, not a recorded event. That distinction matters. It prevents a rare infection from becoming a false warning that touching any dog is dangerous. It also reveals the real diagnostic problem. There may be no memorable exposure for the patient to report. A doctor cannot connect a bloodstream infection to a bite that never happened. The organism itself makes that uncertainty worse. Capnocytophaga species are described by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as fastidious, slow-growing, gram-negative bacteria. Fastidious means they're demanding. They may need particular conditions before they grow well enough in a laboratory to be noticed. Automated blood culture systems are designed to detect the behavior of bacteria growing in a bottle. A fast, abundant organism announces itself. A slow, difficult organism can remain quiet. Even after growth appears, biochemical identification can confuse Capnocytophaga with similar species. In one California study cited by the CDC, state public health laboratories correctly identified only about 1/3 of submitted Capnocytophaga samples. That study followed 56 human isolates submitted to California's reference laboratory across 32 years.
Damn.
Most of the patients did not arrive with a great, neat label attached to their blood sample. More than half of the isolates were sent to the reference laboratory as an unidentified gram-negative rod or simply as identification unknown. Others arrived under the wrong names, including organisms from entirely different groups. The problem was not that the bacteria was invisible under a microscope. They were unfamiliar.
Some people with lost their limbs would go into the fish spa, tiny fish. Yeah, I've heard about them. Yeah, they eat the dead skin off of your feet and they lose their limbs. Well, I mean, it's the same fish in the same water that hundreds of other feet have been in.
And slow. Capnocytophaga grows better in a carbon dioxide-enriched environment and can require extended incubation. Its cells may appear as long, tapered rods, but appearance alone does not separate one species reliably from another. Commercial identification systems are optimized around organisms laboratories encounter more often. A rare bacteria may not fit their databases or biochemical panels cleanly. In 2 of the California cases, the submitted cultures were no longer viable by the time the reference laboratory tried to grow them again. Traditional identification had reached a dead end. PCR and sequencing of a portion of the bacterial ribosomal gene finally supplied the name. Without that molecular route, the researchers wrote those cases would have been missed. The study also shows why Greg's symptoms were easy to misread at the beginning. Fever was common, but so were abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, headache, confusion, and muscle aches. Those findings describe sepsis, but they do not point uniquely toward an animal-associated organism. Animal exposure helped only when someone knew to ask. Among the 27 California patients with available exposure histories, 21 had a recent bite or a close contact with dogs or cats. That left patients for whom no useful animal link was recorded. Greg belonged to the hardest version of that group. He loved dogs and had been around several, but there was no memorable injury making the entrance. That does not mean Greg's hospital failed to run the right test. His physicians did identify the infection and treated it. The deeper glitch is that the diagnostic system is built around patterns, and Greg violated 2 of them at once. The first expected pattern is an obvious animal injury. CDC guidance emphasizes dog and cat bites because those are visible reported events. The patient remembers the bite. The clinician sees the wound. Saliva contact without a known opening is much harder to recognize. The second expected pattern is a vulnerable host. People with weakened immune systems, no spleen, or heavy alcohol use face a much greater risk of severe capnocytophaga disease. According to the CDC, those medical histories account for about 60% of infections. Greg was reported as otherwise healthy. His treating physician, Sylvia Munez Price, said it remained unclear why this particular
otherwise healthy
48-year-old developed such devastating complications. The risk categories explained many patients, they did not explain him. The same California series carried a brutal warning about what happened after DIC appeared. Outcome records were available for 30 patients, 10 died. 7 developed DIC or septic shock during hospitalization. In that historical series, every patient with capnocytophaga-associated DIC died. Those numbers came from a small selected group of difficult cases sent to a reference laboratory. They're not a prediction for every infected person. They do, however, show the cliff Greg had reached. He did not merely survive a bacterium associated with high mortality and severe disease. He survived the complication that had marked the worst outcomes in that series. Survival required 2 battles at once. Clinicians had to cover a severe bloodstream infection with antibiotics before every laboratory detail was settled. At the same time, intensive care teams had to support blood pressure and organ function while surgeons judged which tissue had lost circulation permanently. The decisions can sound contradictory from outside the hospital. If the infection was clearing, why amputate?
Right.
Because infection control and tissue viability are different clocks.
Listen, there's a lot of people that are a lot of people, there's different people in the world. Yeah, brother, so do humans. Why do people bang people they don't know in the bathrooms of bars without condoms? They spread disease. For these people, it's risk reward, and they think the reward is worth the risk, right? I mean, now people don't really know of this risk, but yeah, disease. Yeah, people don't care. People, same old story. People never think they're going to be the one. For some reason, I can't message my phone. Uh-oh. What happened, Kohora? You've been blocked. You got iMessage blocked you. I'm a dog, bro. Man, listen, people love their pets, brother. They love their pets.
Antibiotics can reduce or eliminate living bacteria in the blood. They cannot bring oxygen back to tissue after microvascular clots have destroyed its circulation long enough for gangrene to begin. Dead tissue can itself become a source of further infection and systemic stress. Amputation was not evidence that the antibiotics had failed. It was evidence that they had arrived in a body where the clotting catastrophe was already ahead. Medicine depends on categories because no clinician can test every patient for every rare organism. The categories make care possible, but when
this is the type of thing where if all of the people that have the vitamin and mineral deficiency issues that lead them to a hospital could be taken out of the hospital, then only these types of cases can get the care that they require. No, I don't know. It just won't work. I tried to watch you on my phone, but live chat's not working. They got their eyes on you. Yeah.
Patient falls outside them, the same tool that guides attention can also hide the answer. Greg did not look like the person in the warning. Then the disease moved faster than the warning could be rewritten. CDC guidance says symptoms from animal-associated capnocytophaga commonly begin 3 to 5 days after exposure. Early signs can resemble dozens of ordinary illnesses, fever, vomiting, diarrhea, muscle pain, headache, and confusion. In severe cases, the disease can progress rapidly into sepsis, shock, DIC, organ failure, and death. The first stage looks common. The second can become irreversible within hours. That is the diagnostic trap. If every person with vomiting and aching legs were tested for rare dog-associated bacteria, emergency medicine would drown in unnecessary testing. But if the clinician waits for a clear animal wound or a classic risk factor, a patient like Greg may already be...
You got that super tank phone. You still got that? The Tank 3 or whatever it was called?
Losing circulation by the time the pattern becomes unmistakable. There is no perfect rule that resolves that tension. There's only better information. The CDC tells clinicians that its bacterial special pathogens branch is available around the clock for urgent capnocytophaga consultation.
You still like it?
It recommends molecular methods such as PCR, 16S ribosomal RNA amplification, and Malditoff mass spectrometry when routine identification is unreliable. Malditoff sounds like a piece of science fiction. It's a method that creates a molecular fingerprint from proteins in a bacterial colony and compares that pattern with a reference database. PCR and gene sequencing look at genetic material instead. These tools approach the same problem.
Tank 3 Pro. Look at that freaking crazy beast with that freaking spotlight on the back of it. It's a screen? Hold on, what? Has it got a mini screen on the back? Since March, I've only charged it 48.5 times since March 2nd. Wow. Man, and not that, well, that was not that expensive. Oh, that's not the tank. Oh, they got a Tank 5 now. The Tank 3, okay. Wow, 23,800 milliamp hour. 23,000, damn. It's got a projector on it. Ah, that's probably why the battery's so huge.
Problem from different directions. When growth and biochemical behavior produce an ambiguous answer, identify the organism by what it is made of. Their usefulness still depends
on her phone. Does it have FLIR, Kohora? Does it have infrared?
On suspicion. A molecular instrument is not a net cast automatically over every sample. Someone who has to decide that the ordinary result is incomplete, send the isolate onward, or ask a reference laboratory for help. The rare pathogen can therefore be defeated technically and missed operationally at the same time. Those tools can name the bacterium. They cannot give the limbs back. By September 2018, after weeks in the hospital...
Okay, night vision, okay.
In at least 10 surgeries, Greg was discharged. The next phase of his life would involve healing, rehabilitation, and prosthetics. At a news conference, his doctors praised his determination to walk again. Greg's response to the suspected source of his infection surprised almost everyone. He did not turn against dogs. Quote, "I can't just stop liking dogs because this happened. I'll always love dogs."
Right.
That sentence prevents the story from becoming the wrong kind of warning. Greg did not want his survival turned into a campaign against pets. His doctor made the same point. She owned a dog herself and said most people would never experience an infection like this. The useful lesson is narrower. Dog and cat saliva contain bacteria. Intact skin is an excellent barrier. A bite, scratch, open wound, or sore creates a route around that barrier. People with weakened immunity, no spleen, or heavy alcohol use should be especially careful. A bite should be washed immediately with soap and water and discussed with a healthcare professional. The absence of pain is not proof that the barrier held. A small break in the skin may be forgotten or hidden beneath saliva, hair, or an existing sore. The first symptoms may appear days later and far from the entry point. That is why exposure history should include close animal contact, not only dramatic bites, when a patient develops unexplained rapidly progressive sepsis. The warning also has to remain proportional. Millions of people are licked by pets without becoming ill.
Right.
Preventative antibiotics for every affectionate contact would expose people to side effects and drive antimicrobial resistance without meaningful benefit.
And then with those side effects, they need to get more pills to get more side effects, to get more pills
The
to get more
safer
side
rule
effects.
is targeted, protect.
I used to be addicted to soap, but I'm clean now. So what caused this to happen? I have always heard of this. It may happen to dogs, but they don't know. They don't know.
Skin, clean bites.
They said he didn't get bit. He didn't have an open wound that the dog licked, so it might have been his eyes or his mouth. You think Trump hates dogs? You think so? What's up, Richard? Revolving door of pharmaceutical pusherman. The cartel, pusherman cartel.
Promptly disclose animal exposure when serious symptoms follow and lower the threshold for medical advice when known risk factors are present. Good prevention is not maximum fear. It's enough precision to recognize the unusual event without treating ordinary life as an emergency. But Greg's case adds an uncomfortable footnote to every prevention poster. Sometimes the route
I thought the same thing.
I wonder if they could have
is not remembered. Sometimes the patient does not fit the high-risk box. Sometimes the first visible sign is not at the place where the bacterium entered.
It is an
It is
extremity.
a patch of darkening skin somewhere else created by a clotting system collapsing throughout the body. And sometimes, by the time a rare disease finally becomes obvious, the most important part of treatment is no longer killing the organism, it's surviving what the organism has already set in motion. That's why sepsis is not simply an infection with a frightening name. It's a race between recognition and cascading damage. Antibiotics can stop bacterial growth, yet shock, inflammation, clotting, and organ injury can continue to determine the outcome. Greg's bacteria were susceptible to treatment. The circulation they destroyed was not recoverable. The difference between those two facts is the reason he survived without 4 limbs. There's another reason his case matters. Capnocytophaga infections are not nationally notifiable in the United States. Hospitals are not required to feed every diagnosis into one complete national count. The CDC therefore says there is no national incidence estimate.
They used it for his nose. Suspending if the skin itself dies. Yeah, but often the human body with infection, it rarely goes to the genitalia. Like the body knows that that's the reproducing organs. And I'm guessing if you're ill, you're not getting erections and stuff. So you're not getting enhanced blood flow to those parts. So it's probably one of the reasons. But your arms and legs, you're moving them around, like flexing the muscles all the time. Your ding-a-ling doesn't flex until, you get aroused.
We know the disease is rare. We do not know its exact national rate. That gap shapes awareness. A condition without a clean count is difficult to teach, difficult to compare, and easy to remember only after a catastrophic case reaches the news. Public attention then swings too far in the opposite direction. A rare infection becomes the dog-lick disease, as if the affectionate act itself routinely leads to amputation. Both extremes are failures. Ignoring the organism leaves clinicians and vulnerable patients without a usable warning.
There was this girl here. I want to say she was in her late teens, early 20s. She dove in or took a rope swing. I think it was like a the rope swing snapped in the Chattahoochee right up the street from my house. Well, I mean, like a couple miles. And she had, I want to say, both arms and both legs amputated also, like quickly. Like she scratched her ankle or something like that in the water. I had a friend that had cancer on the face, and she took some skin from his in the face, and they took some skin from his butt and grafted on his nose. Butt nose. You smell farts better? That's rude.
Sensationalizing it leaves millions of healthy pet owners frightened by an event that they're extraordinarily unlikely to experience. The accurate middle is less dramatic, but more useful. Capnocytophaga lives in many animal mouths.
Let me see if I can
Severe
find
human infection is unusual.
Let me see if I can find it. Young girl gets limbs amputated after falling in Chattahoochee River. That's what I was thinking of. Butt face. Yeah, Amy Copeland, 2012, 24-year-old student, graduate student, fell from a broken homemade zip line, not rope swing, cut her leg on the rocks, and contracted necrotizing fasciitis, flesh-eating bacterial infection that required the amputation of all 4 limbs. Shit. He's still alive. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, TW. Yeah. It's so crazy. I guess the other one got removed up at the hip because there's nothing to put another prosthesis on. A homemade zip line. Someone's going to jail. Yeah, it's sad. Just be glad you're not John Wayne Bobbitt. Mm-hmm. Confusing with elephantitis. This one right here. Yeah. Geez, look how skinny that other leg looks next to that crazy. And how do they let it get that big? Like, listen, when it's twice the size of your actual leg, like you go to the hospital. It's unbelievable. A boy that ate a slug. I think I heard that. I think I heard about that. I think I've heard about that. That sounds so familiar. It was a TikTok trend or something, right? It was a TikTok trend, and a boy ate a slug and got I want to say it was TikTok trend. Let me see. Boy eating a slug. He went into a coma. Yeah, parasites. That's why. He ate a slug on a dare. Okay, it was a dare. I could have swore it was a TikTok thing. 2018. Oops. Come on. Oops. Okay. He was dared to eat it by his friends. Ate a slug and made him a vegetable. Okay, he ate a slug on a dare. Sam Ballard ate a garden slug on a dare at a party in Sydney. The slug carried the rat lungworm parasite, causing a severe brain infection that left him in a 420-day coma, permanently paralyzed, and round-the-clock care until he passed away at 2018. Damn, he lived 9 years with it. While drinking wine, a slug... Man, that's freaking. Have you ever seen a guy has elephantitis of the ball sack? Yes. Yeah. Scrotal elephantitis. Yes, most people are friends. Wow. Hold on, let me see if I can do this without getting myself banned. I probably can't. You guys could look it up yourself. Holy crap, dude. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know you can't see it. Okay, I'm not showing it to you. Holy crap. All right, hold on. Here's what I can show you. It's a drawing. Yeah, maybe he'll kick. Yeah, I'm not streaming to Kick anymore. On the 27th, I'm going into a new studio and I'm going to start streaming widescreen again and back to Twitch and Kick. I'm going to go full bore. Jeez. These pictures are crazy. Holy crikey. Holy crikey. Hey, can you go get me a beer? Jeez. Look at this dude holding his stacks of cash. Look at that. Look at this guy. Look at this. Hold on. Did it again. Look at this guy right here. Look at this guy right here. Damn it, I can't have my mouse pointer. There you go. Look at this guy right here with his stacks of cash. Look at that. And look at her. She's freaking crying. He's throwing his stacks of cash up. And this dude's just chilling with his freaking scrote. I do not feel sorry for the dude that ate the slug as his own damn fault over eating weird shit. Never eat bugs. Yeah, people do that stuff, dude. I discovered Atlas OS. How do you like it? You a fan of it yet? Jeez. Man. All right, we'll finish this up. You love it? Okay. All right, now I'm gonna have to get into it. Bam, bam, bam. Bam.
Usual. Saliva crossing a damaged barrier creates risk. Certain health conditions increase that risk sharply. The bacterium can be hard to identify, and when it does trigger septic shock and DIC, the damage can move with terrifying speed. Greg's story did not begin with a monstrous dog. It began with an ordinary relationship between a man and the animals he had always loved. The monster was a bacterium that normally lives without consequence.
Yes, and who's gonna wait until a freaking wheelbarrow? Who's gonna wait that, you know? Jeez, watch a video of a woman that has stage 4 cancer and the doctor says there's nothing they can do. Man, made me cry. Dude, listen. In a couple of years, when the average information or the information that's starting to be well known on the internet gets to the mainstream, a lot of cancers are going to be a thing of the past. If you look at the pic, there's people look poor AF. Yeah, but that guy had all that cash. Did you see that? Oh, you're looking on the yeah. Well, yes, if you're poor, you're not going to the doctors or anything. But at least in America, if you're poor, you can always go to the emergency room. And if you don't have money, they throw the bill away. They write you off as indigent. Now, that you hear a lot like, oh, you'll die, you can't get medical care. You can always get medical care in an emergency room in America, and they can't charge you for it if you don't have the money. They can try, but if you don't have the money, they can write it off. They do it all the time. If your balls get 3 times the size as they're supposed to be, you're gonna go to the freaking emergency room. Just because you don't have money doesn't mean it's gonna help, right? Yep. Yeah. The Macho Man Randy Savage. They don't have that luxury now. No, we're blessed to be in this freaking country. What causes elephantitis? I think it's a parasite. I think it's a parasite, parasitic infection, or it can also be a a clogging of your not endorphins, not electrolytes, endogenous lymph system. So your lymph nodes, the lymph system that would drain fluid typically gets clogged up or something happens, parasites get in them, and then the fluid can't drain out, so it keeps building and building and building. Elephantiasis. Not appendicitis. Elephantiasis. Yeah, it's called lymphatic filariasis, a rare tropical condition, extreme swelling, hardening of the skin, legs, and genitals. Tiny parasitic worms block the lymph system. Mosquito bites spread the worms. So something like a freaking $27 anti-parasitic every couple of months. Prions, yeah, we watch a video on prions too. Can't cook them, can't laser them. I just encountered scrotisserie. The state of scrotisserie. Freaking space cow and his swamp ass. Where are we at? 10 o'clock. All right. How long have we been? 3 hours? All right, let's see. Uh-oh. The occult in the spiritual realm. Look at this crap.
Astronomers may have found something the universe was not supposed to make. A black hole wearing the atmosphere of a star. It is neither a star nor a normal black hole.
Okay, so does that mean that we have a black hole at the center of the Earth?
James Webb spotted it while looking 13 billion years back. It seemed like a very tiny red dot. But at bluer wavelengths, it nearly vanished. Then Webb split its light into a spectrum, and the dot revealed two identities that should not exist together. Its light suddenly dropped by 7.7 times. Stars can create this pattern, called a Balmer break. But this break was stronger than normal stars should produce.
Have you ever encountered a guy that was not so
hydrogen
manly?
Around it showed speeds near 1,900 miles.
Space Cal, you got to stay out of the mirror, brother. You got to stay out of the mirror.
Per second. That pointed to something more violent, a massive black hole feeding on gas. Astronomers named it MOM-BH-star-1. Its light was emitted when the universe was only 660 million years old. It may contain a black hole 1 million to 10 million times the sun's mass, wrapped in dense, turbulent gas. This nearly dust-free gas acts like a star's atmosphere. It absorbs, scatters, and reshapes the black hole's radiation, making the object glow red and look star-like. But fusion does not power it like the sun. The black hole is feeding, while its gas cloak turns hidden violence into light. Astronomers call this possible new class a black hole star. Scientists have struggled for decades.
Sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, black hole.
Decades to explain how black holes reached billions of solar masses, less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang.
They didn't. You don't know what you're talking about.
A thick gas cocoon could trap radiation that would normally push incoming material away. That may let a young black hole feed beyond its usual limit and grow incredibly fast.
Or you don't actually know what the limit is.
Webb has also found hundreds of mysterious little red dots across the early universe. Some may be the same kind of object, young black holes hidden inside gas while growing into the monsters now found at the centers of galaxies. The finding may even mean some early black hole masses were overestimated.
Yeah,
This
overestimated.
remains the best fitting model.
Everything's
not
becoming
final
overestimated. Have you ever heard asshole
But
son?
Webb may have uncovered a missing chapter.
Oh
in
yes,
how
yes, I have.
the
Yes,
universe
yes,
built
yes.
its
Is that I
first
drive it
giants.
very sweet and kind. I get her to
Honestly,
my apartment.
Webb
and it goes straight to
deserves
my
praise
nether
for this
region.
one. But does black hole star?
Exactly. How the hell do they know? They don't. They get some data and then they start using their imagination and and then they find out that when sensors get better, they find out they're wrong. They rewrite new science books. They teach that for a couple of decades. Then we get new sensors. They find out they're wrong. They write new science books. They teach that for another decade. New sensors, find out they're wrong. Rinse and repeat. Like now they're talking about the universe isn't 13.8 billion years old or 26 billion years old anymore because they're finding fully formed galaxies at what should be 13 billion years ago. And we should be seeing that light as before they formed into galaxies, but they're fully formed. So how does that happen? Bam, 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 bam.
Fit? Or does something this strange deserve a new name? Tell me what you would call it.
They called it Mom. But if you don't have a freaking space telescope, you're not going to repeat their experiments. What are you going to say? You're going to say, is it going to be on the exam? Yep. Okay, then this is the truth. If it's on the exam, it's got to be the truth. Joplin. The psychology of a child who grew up too fast. That's freaking AI. Stupid. Do you know this ADHD medication? Yep. New discoveries. A 13.5 million mile per hour supermassive black hole. Dr. Becky. Let's see what Dr.
What's scarier than a supermassive black hole? How about one on the run? A supermassive black hole ejected from the center of its galaxy at over 3.5 million miles per hour and leaving a trail of newly formed stars in its wake. At least that's what one research group of astrophysicists think is responsible for this faint line of light first seen in an image taken by the Hubble Space Telescope in 2022. But now there's a big scientific debate raging about whether that's actually what this fuzzy smudge is, with another research group claiming that it's not a runaway supermassive black hole at all, but instead just a very thin, flat.
And this is the thing. They see a picture and they say, what is it? And let's start arguing about it. Whoever agrees, if there's more people that agree with you than agree with consensus number 2, then that's the truth. Until they get better sensors. Lives here free, paid no rent, bought the car home with the debt, raid the fridge, feed my face. He's a disgrace. Asshole son, you're a bum. You're a bum. Asshole son.
Galaxy that we're seeing from the side, edge on. And now we've got new data on this weird object from the James Webb Space Telescope,
Sensors
which
get
has
better.
just added more fuel to the fire on both sides of the argument. So what is going on here? Well, in this video, we're going to dive into all of this scientific debate, starting with the unexpected discovery by Hubble and why people think this is a runaway supermassive black hole, and then why people think it's an edge-on galaxy instead, and how we'll find more of these things in the future. Plus, this is my area of expertise. My research is on supermassive black holes and the shapes of galaxies. So I'm also going to tell you which explanation my money is on towards the end of the video. But first, let's start with the serendipitous discovery of this thing that's been dubbed RBH1. Serendipitous meaning it was found by accident. Like, no one was actively searching for things like this. In fact, Van Dokkum and collaborators had actually applied for time on the Hubble Space Telescope to study dwarf galaxies that appeared to have no dark matter. But in one of the images they got back from the telescope, they spotted this long, thin thin streak that looked like nothing.
There's a
we'd seen
scratch on the
before.
mirror.
And when this happens, you've got two main questions that you've got to answer. First of all, is it real? And second of all, how far away is it? So first they had to confirm that this thing was seen in multiple images, taken at different times and at different wavelengths of light by Hubble to prove that it was real and that it wasn't just like a cosmic ray that happened to have hit the detector or a weird artifact of the data processing. And then they had to figure out how far away it was, because with an image you compress 3D into 2D. So either it's something in the foreground, so nearby stars and nebula in our own galaxy, the Milky Way, or it's something in the background, in the very distant universe. Now we do that by taking a spectrum. So we split the light into a rainbow and get a trace of how much light at each color or wavelength we detect, in hope of seeing a fingerprint of a specific element like hydrogen or oxygen, which glow with a unique color of light and show up as spikes in the spectrum. The more distant an object is, though, the more the light gets stretched out by the expansion of space to longer wavelengths or redder colors, and we call this redshift. And so that pattern of spikes in the spectrum acts as like a way marker for how much the light has been redshifted by. We can then work out, okay, well then how long has that light been traveling through the universe for, and therefore how far away is the object that we're looking at. Turns out when you do that for this long, thin streak, it's at the same distance as the galaxy in the image that you can see there, around about 7.8 billion light years away. And that's where things get interesting, because if this streak is that far away, then it is big. It is 150,000 light years wide, making it bigger than our entire Milky Way galaxy of 100 billion stars.
I've seen bigger.
So, since Van Dokkum and collaborators discovered this long, thin streak back in 2023, it fell to them to provide the first explanation, the first hypothesis to describe that. And from their data, they concluded that this had to be a runaway supermassive black hole. But what evidence did they have for that explanation? So the first thing us astrophysicists do when we have a mystery object is we look at the properties of its light. So we look at that spectrum. We look to see which elements have given off those spikes of light and
it's on the spectrum.
how much of them and at what ratio. Like, for example, the ratio of the amount of oxygen to hydrogen. Now, it takes a lot of energy to make any element glow, but it takes a lot more energy to make oxygen glow than it does hydrogen. So normally galaxies are brighter in that hydrogen spike than they are in the oxygen spike. But if you have a very energetic process, then you can end up with a much brighter oxygen spike.
So you can get whatever you want out of the data.
Like, for example, a big burst of lots of stars all forming in one place, or a star dying in a supernova, or a growing supermassive black hole. A black hole around 1 million to 10 billion times heavier than the sun, all squished into a space smaller than the solar system, which is so dense it ends up with such strong gravity that nothing, not even light, can escape when you get close enough to it, hence black hole. Now, if these black holes are growing, so if they have a disk of material that's slowly spiraling around them until eventually it will become part of the black hole and make it heavier, that material gets accelerated to such huge speeds that it also starts to glow with a huge amount of energy, giving off ultraviolet and X-ray light. It's that energy that can then hit into nearby oxygen atoms and cause them to glow. And what Van Dokkum and collaborators found back in 2023 is that all along that fuzzy line that they found, there's more of a glow coming from oxygen than there is hydrogen, sometimes up to 10 times as much. Plus, the overall ratio of the amount of blue light to red light is higher along the streak, suggesting it contains newly formed stars, which Van Dokkum and collaborators claim that light and that ratio of blue to red light is best modeled by stars that formed 30 million years ago on one end of the streak and less than 10 million years ago at the other end of the streak. So you've got something really energetic that's causing oxygen to glow, that's making lots of newly formed stars in a straight shot away from the galaxy. So Van Dokkum and collaborators in 2023 argued that the best explanation was a supermassive black hole that had been ejected from the center of this galaxy at a speed of 1,600 kilometers a second, or just under 3.5 million miles an hour. I covered this discovery at the time in one of my Night Sky News episodes for those of you who've been around here for a while.
Yeah, you think it, they think it, they teach you that, then they learn different, and then they teach you that, you know, so who knows anymore. And the thing is, there's always people that think differently. It's the people that win the argument. That means they get more people to agree with them. That makes it the truth until there's more data and then they're proven wrong. One of the greatest things about books is sometimes there are some fantastic pictures. George W. What? What's up, Dibs?
Now that's not as crazy
Beautiful
as it might
picture
sound.
books.
This has actually been long predicted by like computer simulations that have suggested if you have 3 galaxies that all merge together in quick succession, that all have a supermassive black hole at their center, then as the black holes try to spiral together and merge themselves, they end up interacting in such a way that one gets slingshotted out of the mix at huge speeds. Now, despite these predictions, we've never found any evidence for this actually happening, although notoriously, black holes very difficult to observe because they don't give out any light. We can only observe the effect that they have on the stuff around them. And in intergalactic space,
I thought George W. Bush said tacos roll. Hey.
So when this discovery was announced by Van Dockum and collaborators in 2023, it was met with a lot of excitement. But to make their argument more convincing that this was a runaway supermassive black hole, they had to collect more detailed data. So Van Dockum and collaborators also recently applied for time on the James Webb Space Telescope. And earlier this year, they published their results, claiming that the Webb data confirmed their explanation of a runaway supermassive black hole, and then dubbed this object RBH1, Runaway Black Hole 1. They claimed that the end of that long, thin streak had the shape and velocities that you'd expect from a bow shot, and the wake around it caused by the supermassive black hole impacting with the gas around it. Think about a small boat moving through the water, right? At the very tip of the boat, and then the wake that it creates. This is a similar thing. You can model for that, and you can model...
But why would that happen in space? What are you waking? What pressure is pushing against other things to make that wake happen? Families is where our nation finds hope. Where wings take a dream.
The hydrogen and the oxygen that glows because it's been impacted by the supermassive black hole moving at a certain speed. And you can work out, okay, well then what would the velocity be of the hydrogen and oxygen in the wake? And Van Dockum and collaborators find that they can produce a model that matches what they've observed.
I'm sorry, I keep
so they looked at the velocities, but also looked at the ratio again between the amount of glow from different elements you get. So yes, oxygen to hydrogen, but also things like nitrogen to hydrogen as well. And they found that their model captured the overall trends, but not local variations, as they phrased it. So Van Dockum and collaborators have claimed that with all the pieces of evidence that they've collected, that this has got to be a supermassive black hole ejected from the center of its galaxy. But is that the full story? What about the evidence in favor of an edge-on-disk galaxy instead? Because shortly after Van Dockum and collaborators published their initial discovery of this thing back in 2023, Sanchez Almeida and collaborators published an alternative explanation that they considered more likely, that this thin streak wasn't a runaway supermassive black hole, but instead was a galaxy that we're seeing instead of face on, we're seeing it edge on. So they compared this newly discovered object with the nearby galaxy IC 5249 that we know is a disk galaxy that we're seeing edge on, and found that it has a similar distribution of light across that shape and a similar speed relative to us in the glow of oxygen, meaning that one side is coming towards us and one side is moving away from us all the time. And we see that in the shift of the velocities. Not only that, but it sits directly on a well-known correlation for disk galaxies between the maximum speed of the stars and the total mass in stars in the galaxy, suggesting
people like her are cool. They make super difficult math make sense. Yeah, as best as you can. The issues that I have, I mean, but this isn't her fault or anything, is that, and I appreciate this about her. Like, you could absolutely make a video about the first part, about, hey, there's this super massive black hole moving at 3.5 million miles a second or whatever it is, miles an hour. But there's another group of scientists that say, no, it's an edge-on galaxy. So at least people start to know that data can be interpreted in different ways. And the data that your school, or the interpretations that your school tests you on, may not be the truth, it may just be the interpretation of the data, and then when sensors get better, that data is changed. But people think of things as the truth. So the Earth is flat. Well, it's a pancake.
Not a runaway supermassive black hole, but actually a galaxy seen edge on. But what about the new JWST data that helped to confirm Van Dockenham and collaborators' interpretation instead? Well, again, shortly after that work was published earlier this year, Sanchez Almeida and collaborators published a short research paper pointing out that although the oxygen to hydrogen ratio is high, as you'd expect from something really energetic like a supermassive black hole causing the oxygen to glow, both the nitrogen to hydrogen ratio and silicon to hydrogen ratio are very low. So the 3 star shapes plotted here are from locations along RBH1, whereas the coloured points in the background are just like typical star-forming galaxies and also those with growing supermassive black holes. The black lines then show the typical thresholds that we draw to separate out galaxies with growing supermassive black holes from those that don't have growing supermassive black holes. So the fact that RBH1 lies below those lines suggests that it's very firmly in just normal star-forming galaxy territory and not growing supermassive black hole territory. So it's safe to say that Sanchez Almeida and collaborators are not convinced by the runaway supermassive black hole argument. But I think that I am. My area of research is disk galaxies at large distances, but also nearby bulgeless flat disk galaxies that host supermassive black
and bulgeless flat planets like the Earth.
Holes. So I consider myself an expert in what these things look like. And I'm not convinced that this is a galaxy. It has too much structure, for one thing. Like, more than you'd expect to see for a disk galaxy at this distance anyway. To put it another way, like, I don't think the light is as smoothly distributed as I'd expect. Plus, the light also doesn't fall off from the middle like you'd expect in a disk galaxy either. RBH1 has these sharp edges. And while, yes, it does have, like, low nitrogen to silicon ratios compared to hydrogen, it still sits right on the boundary that we draw for normal growing supermassive black holes in normal galaxies. But if this is a runaway supermassive black hole, then it's not normal. So I'd argue these boundaries might shift around in that case. Plus, look at the normal galaxy population in the background, right? It's not a clear-cut delineation between growing supermassive black hole and star-forming galaxy. There's a continuum of values. So there's already a big margin of error on these boundaries that we draw anyway. So personally, I'm more convinced at the minute by the runaway supermassive black hole argument than I am by the edge on disk galaxy argument. But that could all change in the future. Because the next thing we can do to try and understand these is find more of these candidate runaway supermassive black holes. Because it helps that we now have some idea of what to look for. This has shown up as a long, straight, glowing line of gas and stars at the same distance as this galaxy. That means that both human eyes will now be on the lookout for something similar, but also that classification algorithms can actually be taught what to look for. The problem then is just whether you have the right data to actually look
running away when they don't get to catch it like your refrigerator.
Because we know that we need a big enough telescope to actually be able to spot something this faint, which we know that both Hubble and JWST
I was out by 17.
But you also need a telescope to have been able to take enough images across a big enough expanse of sky as possible. But if these things are quite rare, then we also need a lot of data across a huge expanse of sky. But despite having Hubble for over 35 years, its field of view is so small that in that time, the images it's taken cover less than 1% of the entire sky. Meaning that we've only just spotted this because we happen to have been looking in the right place to find it. Ideally, what you'd have instead is have a telescope that does like a survey of as big an expanse of sky as possible, taking lots and lots of images at the same resolution and sensitivity as Hubble to spot faint things like RBH1. Now, thankfully, we'll soon have just that, with the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope set to launch at the end of August 2026. This is Hubble's true successor, and one of its jobs will be to take a survey of the night sky, taking images with the same resolution.
So you left at 6? You started at 17? Or when did you start at Kennesaw?
and sensitivity as Hubble for around about a 20th of the entire sky. If there's more things out there like RBH1, then we should be able to find them with Roman. And it's finding more of these things that's crucial to understanding them, to understanding whether they are runaway supermassive black holes or just edge-on disk galaxies. With more of them, we get a spread of properties for a large group of these things, from the brightness and their color and their shape and the ratio of oxygen to hydrogen and the speed that the stars are moving at. And if we're lucky, the smoking gun evidence that would prove that this is a runaway supermassive black hole is if we would find any ultraviolet or X-ray emission at the ends of one of these things that was coming from the material spiraling around the black hole. That's what would convince me, at least, that finally, after decades of predicting they should exist, we finally found an ejected supermassive black hole. And then they had to figure out how far away it was, because either it could be...
or 17. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. I like it like that. All right, let's see. Let's see what we can find. We got a couple more minutes here. Let's see what we can find. 100 times better than Hubble. New mind-blowing new space telescope. 98%. Oh, jeez. 30% past it. Never seen a supernova explode until now. ABC and Disney sue the FCC. Uh-oh. Worst IRL streamer realizes, uh-oh. State of matter. Job market. The disease that turned 5 million people into statues and then vanished. Man, everything's super long. You know, it's absolutely, it looks like, shouldn't they be able to determine the distance pretty reliably, something like that? Reliability comes down to repeatability and assumptions. You have to assume they're correct in the first place. There's no true way for us to measure this. We could find out that everything is times 5. We could find out that everything that we thought was 1 billion light years away is actually 5 billion light years away when we find an actual physical product that we can actually measure to and then extrapolate out. There's also a gravitational lensing, and it could possibly be done by dark matter, so it could make things look closer or farther. Now, there's theoretical ways to test this stuff, but we don't really know. Here's a big problem. We thought that the universe was 13.8 billion years old, and just in the past few months with James Webb, it looks like we were wrong, because if you're looking 13 billion years into the past, you shouldn't see any formed galaxies. They shouldn't have had enough time to form. And we're finding fully formed galaxies really far out. So either we were wrong, and we don't know until we know. We just say that we know. We take the available evidence and data and say it's 13.8 billion years old. That makes sense with all of the data that we have. Then you get more data and it adds to the equation. Rich, I'm gonna get up the house with the wifey. All right. Love ya. Have a good night, Kahora. Good to see you again. Glad to hear your brother's doing good, by the way. Good to hear. Good to hear. Let's see here. Meta's $1 trillion lawsuit. Largest consumer protection lawsuit in American history. Larger than the ones brought against Big Tobacco more than 2 decades ago. Let's see what that's all about. Meta $1 trillion lawsuit. Oh, okay. We can look at them. Is that supposed to be me? Oh, you can't see it yet. Is that supposed to be me? Oops, I broke something. I think it's hard. I guess distances between galaxies or so is very right. Yeah, it's very difficult. So science in general has to come to a consensus in saying, okay, this appears to be correct. This appears to be 1 light year away. Yeah, to guess. All right, see you later. Oh, these are your drawings. I see of those pictures. There you go. Always doing good work, Kahora. Have a good night. Oops. Meta $1 trillion lawsuit. $1 trillion. 29 states attorneys are accusing the company of designing addictive features on Facebook and Instagram that fuel youth into a mental health crisis. Meta estimates penalties to $1.4 trillion. California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey. Well, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Now they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose all the tech bros over to the Republicans. There they go, idiots. Like infinite scroll autoplay and algorithmic recommendations to hook young users. Addictive social media structures. I've been getting spamming with ads to sign up. Got a class action against Meta. Yeah, I got one too. I didn't sign up. I just got the thing. Sweet. Regulate and tax social media like tobacco. Please do me a solid. No, hey, no. I agree. I agree. And listen. So there. I don't know where you're at on the line, but this whole thing, you're addicted. I'm addicted. I can't get off the internet. I keep streaming every day. I forgot what I was saying. Something. $200 billion. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm addicted. Stupid Meta. All right, we're gonna call it a night. All right, I appreciate y'all coming out here. I love y'all. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Love y'all. Have a good night.